Chapter 2590. Book 1, Chapter 335. Hearing their words, Zhao Fu gave a pleased smile. Elemental orbs were quite useful to them, which meant that they could mass-produce them and use them to create elemental cavalry corps. That way, the elemental cavalry corps would be quite powerful. This would solve the problem of having too many people in a cavalry corps. After all, the people in a cavalry corps had to be the most outstanding out of all soldiers, not just in terms of talent, but also in terms of strength and battle experience. Now that there were many battles going on, the veterans would definitely have a lot of battle experience. What they lacked were talented and powerful soldiers. In terms of talent, Zhao Fu could not help them. Even though there were grade pills that could increase one's grade, they were people from the card world and could not use grade pills from the Heaven Awaken world. The matter of talent could be solved in the future. Right now, elemental orbs could give soldiers great power, which made it possible for countless soldiers to form a cavalry corps. After solving the problem of people in the cavalry corps, the next problem was equipment. Cavalry corps needed top-tier materials to create artifacts, which would allow them to unleash terrifying attack. Moreover, they also needed specialized horses. Zhao Fu thought for a moment before saying, "Help me prepare a few sets of cavalry equipment and horses." Eileen smiled as she said, wait a moment." Now, they all understood that Zhao Fu was solving the various problems of a cavalry corps. If they could form an elemental cavalry corps, they would naturally be the happiest people. After all, they were the ones in charge of the elemental cavalry corps and had the most authority. Following this, Eileen brought a few sets of artifacts and a few horses. These artifacts and horses all had different attributes, and the auras they gave off were quite powerful. They were not things that ordinary equipment and horses could compare to. Elemental orbs had all sorts of effect. Not only could they be fused into a person's body to increase their strength, but they could also be socketed into equipment and fused into horses, simultaneously increasing the strength of the equipment and horses. People, equipment, and horses all had elemental orbs, which could increase the compatibility between the two sides and increase the cavalry corps' strength. However, these were all just Zhao Fu's guesses, and he was going to give them a try. Zhao Fu first condensed elemental orbs with different attributes. There was a white orb that gave off light, a black orb that gave off a dark light, a fire orb that gave off flames, and an azure orb that gave off an azure orb that floated above Zhao Fu's palm. There were 4 sets of artifacts in front: helmet, armor, gloves, boots, spear, short sword, 3 rings, a pendant, and a medallion, all of which gave off faint light. Every relic was a whole, and there was a connection between them. Zhao Fu waved his hand, and the 4 elemental orbs flew above the relic before slowly descending and fusing into the armor. The 4 sets of relic gave off different intense light. Zhao Fu smiled as he condensed a few more elemental orbs and fused them into the horses. As expected, after the horses obtained the elemental orbs, they became much more powerful. Zhao Fu then asked Eileen and the others to put on the artifacts and ride the horses to see how it felt. Eileen and the others obeyed and put on the artifact. They rode the horses and started to gallop around the field, and they also unleashed a few attacks. They then came before Zhao Fu with smiles on their faces. "Your Majesty, the feeling now is completely different from before. It feels like we, the artifacts, and the horses have fused into one. The artifacts are more comfortable, and the horses are more obedient. Most importantly, with the 3 of them, our strength has increased." Zhao Fu smiled as he nodded. "Now that you have elemental orbs, you can form an elemental cavalry corps in a short period of time." Eileen smiled as she said, "This is all thanks to Your Majesty. Without Your Majesty, we wouldn't have been able to do this." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Later, I'll build a magic formation platform to create elemental orbs. Also, force out the low-grade elemental orbs from your bodies, and I'll personally condense high-grade elemental orbs for you." The women said delightedly, "Thank you, Your Majesty." Before, Zhao Fu could condense low-grade elemental orbs in a short period of time. If he used a bit more time, the elemental orbs he condensed would be even better, and the highest he could condense would be high-grade elemental orbs. As for elemental orbs like the Holy Spirit Orb, even with the Spirit Race's Emperor Star, Zhao Fu would not be able to create them. Holy Spirit orbs of that level had to be nurtured by the heavens and earth. Zhao Fu ordered people to start building a magic formation platform in the palace. Tina Pendragon, Hilary, and the other women came to Zhao Fu's side. Building the magic formation platform would take a long time, so Zhao Fu stayed with them for a day. Zhao Fu looked at Hilary in his arms and asked about the Emperor Cavalry Corps. Before, Zhao Fu had asked Eileen to form an Elemental Cavalry Corps and Hilary to form an Emperor Cavalry Corps. This Emperor Cavalry Corps was not an ordinary cavalry corps, nor was it an Elemental Cavalry Corps. It was a cavalry corps created from Zhao Fu's Night King seal. Zhao Fu was the owner of this cavalry corps, but Zhao Fu did not have time to manage it, so he left it all to Hilary. Hilary sighed. There's been no progress at all. The requirements for the Emperor Cavalry Corps are too high, and there are only a few hundred people in the entire faction who meet the requirement. There's no way to form a cavalry corps. Not only do we lack people, but we also don't have treasures or suitable horses. Zhao Fu thought about how the Emperor Cavalry Corps was the top cavalry corps in the card world and had the power to destroy the world, so the requirements would definitely be very high. The Emperor Cavalry Corps required a person with a pure sovereign bloodline to form a Night King seal. Zhao Fu's bloodline was the Origin bloodline, so he should be able to form an Origin Cavalry Corps. This would be even stronger than the legendary Saint Cavalry Corps in the card world. Zhao Fu could not be anxious about forming such a terrifying cavalry corps. Zhao Fu suddenly thought about the Emperor Demon Horse Stones that he had obtained in the spirit realm. These Emperor Demon Horse Stones could produce many Emperor Demon Horses. These Emperor Demon Horses all had Emperor power and were top-tier horses. Zhao Fu could use these horses here. Qin did not lack horses, so he would be able to solve the problem of horses for the Emperor Cavalry Corps. Thinking to there, Zhao Fu prepared to use the Emperor Demon Horse Stones. At that moment, a handsome-looking young man led an army to take down a city. This army belonged to the Kingdom of Locke that Zhao Fu was in. While Zhao Fu had not been around, Tina Pendragon had been commanding the army to fight everywhere, causing the Kingdom of Locke to become stronger and stronger. The fate that they had from the card world had also become stronger and stronger. This handsome-looking young man had taken down a city, causing the Kingdom of Locke's territory to become as big as a world. Chapter 2591. Scroll 1. Chapter 36. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as all of the Locke Kingdom's fate flooded towards Zhao Fu within the palace, continuously entering Zhao Fu's body. A powerful aura spread out from Zhao Fu's body, causing the women around Zhao Fu's expressions to fall. They quickly left Zhao Fu's side and looked at the scene in confusion, not knowing what was going on. At that moment, countless traces of black light shot out from between Zhao Fu's eyebrows, and a black mark that looked like a black dragon crown appeared. Hilary and the other women felt a massive pressure, and their bodies uncontrollably half-knelt on the ground. That was the Night King's seal that Zhao Fu had condensed. Zhao Fu felt quite surprised and did not know that the Night King's seal would suddenly change like this. All of the fate that flowed into Zhao Fu's body was absorbed by the Night King's seal, which became more and more powerful and gave off countless rays of intense black light. After a while, the fate that flowed into Zhao Fu's body disappeared, and the Night King's seal's power disappeared as well. The seal returned to Zhao Fu's forehead. The women let out a sigh of relief, and went up to ask what had happened. Zhao Fu examined the Night King's seal and said, "The Night King's seal has leveled up. Looks like it needs to conquer more territory to become more powerful." Hilary smiled as she said, "Congratulations! The more powerful the Night King's seal is, the more power you will have. As your knights, we will also become more powerful. Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. The reincarnation disc was still missing a card Dao, and he could use the Night King's seal as a foundation to create a card Dao. The Night King's seal was one of the most powerful cards in the card world, so it should have this ability. However, it was still too weak, and the reincarnation disc did not have much of a reaction to it. Zhao Fu needed to level up its power before he could use it to create a card Dao. That way, the card world's Dao would be solved. In the future, if he could devour more territory in the card world's residents would be able to reincarnate in the Heaven Awaken world. Putting this matter aside, Zhao Fu went to an empty area and took out a red, jade-like orb. This was the Emperor Demon Horse Stone. It could not be used in the card world yet, as it was an item from the Heaven Awaken world. However, this was not a problem for Zhao Fu. After awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star, Zhao Fu had a new understanding of the laws, and his control over laws had become much more powerful. Zhao Fu sent a wave of power into the Emperor Demon Horse Stone, and the red orb flew into the air. The Tai Chi pupil in his right eye suddenly widened, and a Tai Chi diagram appeared below the red orb. Zhao Fu's Qi Dao. A massive explosion sounded out as the Tai Chi diagram started to spin. The surrounding elemental energy flooded into the Tai Chi diagram, and the Tai Chi diagram gave off powerful elemental energy, forming a massive might that covered the surroundings. Qi Chen Zhao Qi, Fu's Qi Li Chen Chen, Y1. Fu repeat, the Dao Zhao Zhao Fu Fu of the Tuli demon. The Tai Chi diagram in the sky gave off an even more powerful aura, and threads stretched out from the Tai Chi diagram, slowly stabbing into the red orb. The red orb gave off an intense red light, and its aura quickly changed. Now, Zhao Fu wanted to change the Emperor Demon Horse Stone's laws and fuse them into the card world's laws. That way, the Emperor Demon Horse Stone would not only be able to be used in the Heaven Awaken world, but it could also be used in the card world. The threads that stretched out from the Taiji diagram continuously poured into the red sphere, and the intense light that the red sphere gave off started to slowly change. Its color became a little fainter, and a mark that looked like a horse slowly appeared in the middle. Zhao Fu retracted his power, and the Tai Chi diagram in the sky dissipated. The Emperor Demon Horse Stone slowly returned to Zhao Fu's hand. Zhao Fu held the Emperor Demon Horse Stone and pressed it against the ground. Waves of red light spread out, and the red stone slowly fused into the ground. At the same time, Zhao Fu also poured his origin energy into it. Boom! Countless rays of light shot out from the ground, and Zhao Fu retreated a few steps. He saw a platform made of red jade slowly rise up from the ground. It was 10 meters wide and round, and there was a red stone floating at the center of the platform. Whiz! A neigh sounded out as a tall and powerful horse appeared in front of Zhao Fu, giving off a powerful saint-level aura. The horse's body was snow-white, and it had 2 long horns on its head. It had a pair of eyes, and its mane and tail were red. Its hooves gave off traces of red aura, and it looked quite beautiful and devilish. It was the Emperor Demon Horse King. Ordinary young Emperor Demon horses had Stage 5 strength, and adult Emperor Demon horses could reach Stage 9 strength. As a Horse King, it was even more powerful, reaching Saint grade. Zhao Fu was quite satisfied with this. In the past, if Qin's wyverns did not have any power, they would only have Stage 5 strength. Now that the young Emperor Demon Horse was already so powerful, if it fused with other powers in the future, it would become even more powerful. Zhao Fu planned to use this Emperor Devil Horse as his mount. After all, he was a man with a Night King's seal, and it was impossible for him to not have a mount. In the future, he might have to personally lead the Emperor's cavalry into battle. After dealing with this matter, Zhao Fu returned to the palace and started to set up a magic formation to condense the elemental beads. This required Zhao Fu's origin energy as the foundation, as the elemental beads relied on Zhao Fu's power to condense. Without Zhao Fu's power, it would be useless. Zhao Fu cut his wrist and let his blood flow out. He controlled the blood and condensed it into a bloodstone, which would be the center of the magic formation. After setting up the magic formation, Zhao Fu started to activate it. Countless rays of light shot out from the stage and countless elemental essences quickly gathered, forming an orb that gave off a powerful aura. Seeing that it could be condensed, Zhao Fu set up another magic formation. He needed equipment, people, and horses, and he needed a large number of elemental beads. The elemental beads condensed from a single magic formation were not enough, so he needed many more magic formations. After setting up the magic formations, Zhao Fu sent many soldiers to stand guard. This was now the most important place in the Lock Kingdom. After taking care of the matters in the card world, Zhao Fu returned to the Heaven Awaken world. After personally looking at the developments of the various factions, he had a clear understanding of his own strength. Zhao Fu felt that it was time to attack the Aeolian Empire. Zhao Fu gathered his subordinates and started to discuss, but the opinions of the subordinates were not unanimous. Some said that they could attack, while others said that they could not. They were mainly worried about the various royal kingdoms in the inner regions of the ancient stem domain. They had warned Qin that if they attacked the Aeolian Empire, they would definitely interfere. Qin felt great pressure from facing so many royal kingdoms, so some of the subordinates tried to persuade Zhao Fu not to attack and to develop in the card world and alchemy world first. Those two worlds were doing quite well. If you like Lord's Armament Conquers the Heavens, please collect. Lord's Armament Conquers the Heavens is the most popular, right? The fastest updates. Chapter 2592. Book 1, Chapter 37. Zhao Fu didn't let his guard down. The kingdoms in the inner area were indeed a great threat. These kingdoms were the biggest obstacle to Qin destroying the Aeolian Empire. Without them, Qin would have destroyed the Aeolian Empire long ago. Should he listen to the suggestions of the ministers and focus on the development of the alchemy world and the card world? Zhao Fu thought about it and decided to attack the Aeolian Empire. With Qin's current strength, he should be able to catch them off guard. The most important thing was to break the stalemate between Qin and the Aeolian Empire. In addition, Zhao Fu had wanted to destroy the Aeolian Empire a long time ago, so Zhao Fu decided to attack the Aeolian Empire. Seeing that Zhao Fu had made up his mind, the ministers no longer tried to dissuade him. They started to discuss how to attack the Aeolian Empire. This time, Qin had to do his best. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to take down the Aeolian Empire. The Pantheon, Yellow Springs, the Card World, the Chaos World, and the Alchemy World were all gathering their forces quickly. These were the hidden forces of Qin, which others didn't know yet. Boom! 3 days later, Great Qin's army was completely gathered, and they gave off a massive aura that seemed to be able to conquer the world as they flooded towards the Wind God Empire. Everyone was shocked. The face of Feng Xinsha, the ruler of the Aeolian Empire, was very ugly. Although she was very strong now, she still felt a lot of pressure when facing the Qin Empire. Feng Xinsha immediately sent messengers to contact the alliance, the kingdoms in the inner area, and most importantly, the First Aeolian Empire. As a kingdom in the middle area, the Aeolian Empire's basic forces had already reached grade 3. If it weren't for the other forces holding them back, they would have destroyed the Qin Empire long ago and made the Aeolian Empire the most powerful existence. In fact, there was no need for Feng Xinsha to inform. All the forces had received the news immediately. They were paying close attention to Qin. The alliance was the most panicked. Qin finally couldn't hold back his wild ambition and wanted to destroy the Aeolian Empire. If the Aeolian Empire was destroyed, only the alliance and Qin would be left to resist. Although the alliance had many people, they weren't a match for Qin. Hurry up and tell us. What to do? What to do? We must stop Qin this time. We can't do the same thing as the Devil Horn Empire. It was all your fault last time. If we could unite, How could we not stop the ambition of the Qin Empire with so many troops? Think about the destroyed Devil Horn Empire. Its fate will be our fate. I'm afraid it won't be so easy this time. Since Qin decided to attack the Aeolian Empire, he definitely has full confidence. We won't be able to stop Qin. Back then, when the Devil Horn Empire, Qin, and Wind God were at odds with each other, we should have allied together to destroy Qin. That way, things wouldn't be like this. That's true. Back then, Qin was already quite terrifying. It's a pity that everyone thought that the Devil Horn Empire and Wind God would be able to tie him down, and they even thought that Qin would be destroyed by the two of them. Now that I think about it, it's quite laughable. Let's not talk about such nonsense and gather our forces. No matter what, we must stop Qin this time, or else we'll be next. Because the Tao cultivation sect had gone into seclusion, the ancient sword sect had madly grown over the past few years. Its strength now surpassed the Tao cultivation sect, and it had become the most powerful faction in the ancient stem domain. After his battle with Zhao Fu, the ancient sword sect master had greatly improved. He had broken through the world realm and had become an extreme divine realm expert. In the outer domains, this cultivation was quite high, as ordinary experts were only at the world realm. Now, the ancient sword sect master was known as the #1 person in the ancient stem domain. No one dared to offend him, and they all feared his existence. It was a pity that countless people did not know about Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's cultivation had long since reached the Emperor Heaven realm, and he was one level higher than the ancient sword sect master. Adding on his various powers, Zhao Fu was invincible within the Emperor Heaven realm, and even Void Realm experts would not be able to suppress Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu could even insta-kill an extreme divine realm expert like the ancient sword sect master in a single move, but that was if the ancient sword sect master did not use his sect armament, the Eastern Flow Ancient Sword. As the #1 faction and expert in the ancient stem domain, after hearing about Qin attacking the Wind God domain, the ancient sword sect master arrogantly and coldly said, "Send down my orders. Tell that Qin to stop attacking, or else he will have to bear the consequences." Hearing this, a disciple immediately turned and left to pass down the order to Qin. As the current legacy disciple of the ancient sword sect master, Jian Yin gave a trace of a cold smile. He had long since disliked Qin and even loathed Qin. This time, it was best to take this opportunity to destroy Qin. The Bear Mountain Kingdom's Xiong Shao also greatly disliked Qin. At the start, he had chosen to help the Devil Horn Empire destroy Qin, but the Devil Horn Empire disappointed him and was destroyed by Qin in the end. Xiong Shao gave off a killing intent as he said, "Father, I believe that Qin definitely cannot be left alive. We've all seen how terrifying he is, and this is a good opportunity to destroy him." The Bear Mountain Kingdom's king thought about it and did not hesitate. This Qin definitely cannot be left alive. I will immediately send troops over. Xiong Shao smiled as he said, "Father, leave it to me this time. I will bring back Emperor Qin's head and countless peerless beauties in his harem to give to you." The king smiled as he said, "It's enough that you have such filial piety. I don't need any of that. Be careful and don't be careless." Xiong Shao nodded, "I understand." After hearing about this, the 8 Sun Dragon sects Long Yang immediately went to find his father and said, "Father, this Qin has been disrespectful to me many times. It's time for him to understand the consequences of offending our 8 Sun Dragon sect." The sect master looked at his son and did not object. This Qin's rate of growth was simply terrifying, and if they did not deal with this sort of faction, there would be endless troubles in the future. He smiled as he said, "I'll immediately send troops over to destroy Qin." A well-built man next to him evilly smiled and said, "Young sect master, when you go to destroy Great Qin, you must keep the women in Great Qin's harem. I've long since heard that there are many beauties in Great Qin's harem, and all of them are rare beauties. We can't waste them. Our 8 sons dragon sect needs them to cultivate. Another wretched old man also said with a smile, I've been eyeing Qin's harem for a long time. My heart blossomed when I saw one from afar. If I could get one of them, I would be willing to shorten my life by 10 years. Unfortunately, Qin's palace is heavily guarded, and I have no way to sneak in. The handsome young man also exclaimed, Although I have many women, few of them can be compared with the concubines in Qin's harem. I'm curious why there are so many beautiful women in Qin's harem. The wretched old man agreed and said, I'm also curious about this. Why does Qin have so many beautiful women? How did Qin collect them? He seems to have captured all the beauties in the world. Chapter 2593. Book 1. Chapter 38 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mike. Here they did not know that as Zhao Fu's women, as Zhao Fu's power and fate continuously increased, they were affected by Zhao Fu, causing their power and fate to greatly change. Adding on the Emperor Phoenix statue, which was a powerful divine item, all of the women in Qin's harem were nourished by Phoenix Qi, and there were also the effects of the flower domain and beauty spring. Even an ugly woman with so much power would become a beauty. Long Yang lightly laughed, No problem, as long as we can break through the Qin Empire, I'll capture countless women for the sex people to cultivate. The sect master understood and gave a trace of a smile. He was also quite interested in Qin's women. The 8 beautiful women next to him glared at the sect master and said, If you dare to find women apart from us, we'll ignore you in the future. The 8 Sun Dragon sect's legacy art required 8 princesses, and Long Yang had found 7 before. It was a pity that they had been taken by Zhao Fu. These 8 beautiful women were the sect master's 8 wives, and the big madam was Long Yang's mother. Seeing how angry the 8 wives looked, the sect master gave a brilliant smile as he said, Don't worry, I definitely won't touch other women. Even though he said this, the sect master already planned to personally go to Qin to pick a few. After hearing about this, the Dao cultivation sect decided to remain hidden. Unless Qin came to their doorstep, they would not interfere in anything. Now they felt even more fear because they knew about that legendary emperor. Those 8 terrifying emperor stars had been summoned by him, and he had heavily injured the entire spirit domain, causing countless experts to fear him. In the eyes of the Dao cultivation sect, the matters in the ancient stem domain were all small matters. When that terrifying person returned to the ancient stem domain, there would be mountains of corpses and rivers of blood. As such, they were not interested in anything else, nor did they want to compete with the ancient sword sect for first place. After all, there was no point. In the past, the Ice Origin Kingdom's Bing Qixue and Zhao Fu had some relations, but he found out that he was not willing to accept something, which was that the Ice Origin Kingdom had decided to attack Qin. This was because Great Qin's growth speed made them feel threatened. If Great Qin destroyed the Wind God Empire, the alliance would not be able to defend at all and would be destroyed. In the future, Great Qin would be able to fearlessly develop, and no one would be able to stop it in the future. After getting the news that Qin had destroyed the other scattered forces, he would definitely start to destroy the kingdom-level existences. There was no doubt about this. Although they didn't want to, they were destined to be enemies. Bing Qixue tried his best to dissuade them, but it was useless. The Ice Origin Kingdom's factions were already determined to destroy Great Qin, and they would not listen to Bing Qixue. In the end, Bing Qixue sighed and did not interfere in this matter. As for the Winecloud Kingdom and Greenwood Kingdom, they had 2 princesses who had become Qin's concubines, and this was a sort of alliance. Not only did they know that Qin was going to attack the Aeolian Empire, but they also knew that the ancient stem domain's royal kingdoms were also planning to attack Qin. Facing such a massive faction, Qin would be doomed. After all, the 2 of them would not be able to defeat so many factions. In the end, they decided not to help Qin, nor did they send soldiers to attack Qin. Instead, they sent out a few experts to wait for Qin to be broken through before rescuing the two princesses. Within the heavenly music sect, Inruoshi looked at the beautiful middle-aged woman beside her and asked softly, "Master, what should we do? Should we help Qin or destroy Qin together?" The beautiful middle-aged woman smiled as she said, "What do you think we should do?" Inruoshi thought about it and said, "I've seen the ruler of Qin before, and he's an extremely terrifying person. It's best not to offend such a person, and if you offend him, you must kill him, or else there will be endless troubles in the future. Now, all sides are attacking Qin, and it's possible that Qin will not be able to defend against them. It's best if we don't act. We won't help or send soldiers." The beautiful middle-aged woman looked at her and said, "You're right, but we can't just do nothing. Qin has countless secrets and powerful methods, and if we can obtain those, it will be of great help to our sect. As such, I'm sending you to obtain those things." Inruoshi said with a troubled expression, "Master, I might not be able to do it by myself. That ruler of Qin gives me a very dangerous feeling." The beautiful middle-aged woman smiled as she said, "I'll have a few of your junior apprentice sisters go with you. You don't have to directly fight with that ruler of Qin. After the various experts attack Qin, the first thing they'll do is to kill the ruler of Qin. Your goal is to take advantage of the chaos to obtain benefit. If anything goes wrong, immediately retreat and don't take risk." Inruoshi nodded. "I understand." Following this, a few women came over with smiles on their faces and excitement. One of them had a seductive figure and held a small drum, and she was called Li Huoying. One had a sweet appearance and held a pipa, and she was called Shui Ning. One had a flirtatious appearance and held a zither, and she was called Zhang Dongmei. One had a tall figure and a gentle and beautiful appearance and held a flute, and she was called Yulina. Li Huoying smiled as she said, "That ruler of Qin is going to suffer retribution. Who told him to harm so many women and lock them up in his harem? Those women are so pitiful. This time we have to do justice on behalf of the heavens." Zhang Dongmei lightly nodded as she said, "If it's possible, we have to bring them out as well. It's best if we can bring them back to the heavenly music sect so that they won't be bullied by other stinky men." Senior apprentice sister, we heard that Qin has many treasures and things that can make people beautiful. This time, we have to obtain them, Shui Ning said happily. Inruoshi looked at them and did not say anything, but she felt a trace of worry in her heart. Finally, there was the Fiery Kingdom. Zhao Fu's old rival, Su Yank, had been paying attention to news about Qin. After hearing that all of the kingdoms were going to attack Qin, he understood that this was a great opportunity, so he directly told this to Zhao Fu's little brother, Li Baiqing. Li Baiqing had long since given up his identity as Great Tang's legatee and had become a member of the Fiery Kingdom's royal family. Hearing this, Li Baiqing's face was filled with hatred. He could only blame Zhao Fu for his current situation. He hated Zhao Fu to the bone, and his greatest wish was to kill Zhao Fu. As expected, Li Baiqing also told this news to the Fiery Kingdom's king and asked him to send him some troops. The Fiery Kingdom already had a great enmity with Qin, and this time, all of the kingdoms were going to attack Qin. Could a border kingdom resist so many kingdoms? The Fiery King thought for a moment before agreeing and sending some troops to Li Baiqing. However, the Fiery King was not careless. Although he only sent some troops, he sent a lot of experts. His goal was to kill Zhao Fu. Chapter 2594. Book 1. Chapter 39 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mike. Here it could be said that Qin's actions affected the entire ancient STEM domain. Various factions sent soldiers to Qin, and soldiers could be seen gathering everywhere. The peaceful ancient STEM domain became quite lively as everyone discussed this matter. Most people felt that Qin was doomed this time. Facing the various royal kingdoms and the local alliances, the Aeolian Empire's army was simply too massive. How could Qin defend against such a massive army? Qin also heard that the various factions had sent soldiers to attack Qin. No one was surprised, as they had long since expected this. However, facing such a massive army, Qin felt great pressure. However, even if Qin did not attack the Aeolian Empire, the various factions' soldiers would not retreat. Qin could only fight with all his strength and let the world see Qin's strength. Right now, Qin still had a slight advantage, which was that he was quite close to the Aeolian Empire while the other royal kingdoms were quite far away. Even though they had hurried over, it would take them some time. Right now, they were mainly facing the Aeolian Empire and the allied forces. Qin's army moved quite quickly and split into two paths. One was to attack the Aeolian Empire, while the other was to stop the allied forces. The Aeolian Empire received news that the various royal kingdoms had sent out their armies, and they strengthened their defenses with all of their strength. They understood that as long as they could defend the Aeolian Empire, they would win. The alliance held a meeting to unite all of their forces. This time, they did not send 20 billion soldiers but 80 billion soldiers, which was even more than Great Qin's current forces. Right now, Qin only had 70 billion soldiers, and this did not include the other world's soldiers. The Aeolian Empire had 50 billion soldiers. Qin only sent 10 billion soldiers to stop the Allied forces' 80 billion soldiers, which in the eyes of others was simply seeking death. Even though Qin's equipment was quite good and his strength was extraordinary, it would be difficult for him to defend against such a massive army. As for the remaining 60 billion soldiers, Qin chose to attack the Aeolian Empire. Qin's main force was personally led by Zhao Fu, and they had already reached the border of the Aeolian Empire. The Aeolian Empire was currently protected by a massive green barrier, and there were many soldiers standing on the city walls with serious expressions but resolute gazes. They understood that this might be their final battle against Qin. Feng Xinsha stood on the city walls and looked at Zhao Fu seriously. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "How about you submit and become my concubine? I won't mistreat you." With Feng Xinsha's personality of treating men like pets and slaves, this was a massive insult to her. She said mockingly, "You still have the guts to say such things even when you're about to die?" She said, "Zhao Zhao Zhao Qin, Qin, and Qin, is, and Qin, 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 1 E3 Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Let's see who will win this battle." Feng Xinsha's expression became even more serious. She could not understand how Qin could face the attacks of the various royal kingdoms so easily. The royal kingdoms all had stage 2 soldiers, and facing such a massive force, even if the Aeolian Empire died, they could not underestimate them. Zhao Fu did not waste any words and called out, "Attack! Roar! Roar! Roar!" Countless devil beasts gave off massive roars as countless traces of devil qi rose up from their bodies, condensing into massive balls of devil qi in front of them. They gave off shocking power and shot towards the Aeolian Empire. Boom! 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 Massive insect nest dragons flapped their wings in the sky and terrifying light gathered in their mouth. They stretched out their heads and shot out countless beams of light, giving off an unstoppable aura as they shot towards the Aeolian Empire. Swish, 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 massive god beasts aimed their cannons at the Aeolian Empire and massive beams of light shot out, bringing with them shockwave. The beams of light filled the sky, creating a shocking scene. Bang! Bang! Deafening explosions sounded out as countless attacks landed on the green barrier, causing light to shoot out in all directions and powerful gales to blow. The barrier gave off countless rays of green light to defend against the attack. Even though the attacks were blocked, the light was much dimmer and would most likely shatter before the next attack. Feng Xinsha's expression was quite unsightly as she hurriedly had people activate the Wind Spirit God Magic Formation. A massive green magic formation appeared behind the Aeolian Empire, giving off massive wind. Ordinary people felt as if they were facing a typhoon. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as countless rays of green light shot out from the magic formation. The green light covered everything, making the Aeolian Empire seem to be covered in green light, and the dim barrier became brighter. Zhao Fu's expression did not change, and he once again ordered people to attack. Boom! 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 Countless devil chi bullets and beams of light containing terrifying power slammed against the barrier, but the green barrier seemed to fuse with the green light. The countless attacks slammed against it but did not deal much damage, and the barrier became abnormally tough. Feng Xunsha gave a trace of a smile. In order to defend against Qin's attack, she had gone all out. It had been difficult for her to gather the wind spirit stones needed to maintain the magic formation. Seeing this, Zhao Fu frowned. Feng Xunsha ordered, "Activate the magic formation's second state." Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the massive magic formation started to spin and a destructive gale blew out from the Aeolian Empire. Trees were uprooted and countless boulders were sent flying. The ground was also ripped open, creating a terrifying scene. Facing this terrifying gale, Zhao Fu said, "Activate the defenses." The black-armored soldiers formed a massive formation and countless rays of black light shined out, forming a massive black energy barrier that protected the entire army and blocked the terrifying hurricane. Feng Xunsha inwardly let out a sigh of relief. Her goal was not to attack Qin but to delay Qin and the other royal kingdom's forces. Facing such a terrifying gale, Qin could not attack and could only defend. On the other side of the battlefield, Bai Qi's 10 billion soldiers and the Alliance's 80 billion soldiers met on a wasteland. Both sides gave off massive auras, causing the air in the surrounding thousands of kilometers to become heavy. The surroundings were incredibly silent, and not a single creature dared to make a sound. Because the Alliance had more people, the auras they gave off were even greater, and they felt more confident and pleased as they faced Qin's soldiers. A big man with a beard called out angrily, "Isn't Qin too arrogant? You dare to block us with so few people? Today we'll show Qin how powerful the Alliance is." Another handsome-looking young man loudly laughed as he said, "It's good that they have so few people. We can kill them all without paying too many casualties." Apex. Chapter 2595. Book 1, Chapter 40. A skinny young man shouted, "Brothers, we'll definitely win this time. After killing them all, we'll directly attack Qin. The beauties and treasures will belong to whoever can take them." A beautiful woman smiled as she said, "Now I feel at ease. Qin will definitely perish this time, and we won't have to worry about Qin in the future. If we can also get rid of the Aeolian Empire, that would be even better." Bai Qi coldly looked at the experts in front of him and said, "Just a bunch of useless people, don't waste time and attack." Hearing this, the Alliance experts felt quite startled. They had never thought that Bai Qi would dare to say such a thing, and some of the Alliance experts immediately gave the order to attack. Some of the experts felt quite startled. They had fought with Qin before, and Qin was not an idiot. Even if there was, it would not be this general in front of them. Since he was not an idiot and had said such words, Qin definitely had some terrifying methods. As such, they did not give the order to attack, and they chose to have others rush up to see what terrifying abilities Qin had. "Kill!" The Alliance soldiers wearing different colored armor roared, as they gave off a massive aura and flooded towards Qin, seeming as if they could destroy everything. Seeing the army rushing over, Bai Qi's expression did not change as he coldly said, "Get into formation and activate the alchemy orbs." As he gave the order, Qin's soldiers raised their shields and came to the front, forming a shield wall. The spearmen held their spears and stood at the back, while the archers came to the back and drew their bows, forming a massive defensive formation. Many people wearing long robes appeared in the army. They raised their hands, and all of them emitted various kinds of metallic light. Boom! Boom! Massive explosions sounded out as waves of alchemy power flowed out of their hand. The massive amounts of alchemy power gathered in the sky, forming massive metal orbs that gave off terrifying auras. Looking at the metal orbs, some people disdainfully rushed forwards, while others felt that the situation was quite bad. Bai Qi ignored their reactions and said coldly, "Alchemy light." Boom! Boom! A series of loud booms rang out as the metal balls flew even higher into the sky, giving off countless rays of light that enveloped the surroundings. Under this light, some of the Alliance soldiers did not sense anything strange and gave off powerful auras as they continued to charge at Qin. However, some of the soldiers looked terrified. They found that their bodies were being metallized, and they felt immense pain. They hurriedly used their body's power to resist this metallization. It wasn't just them. The bodies of the Alliance soldiers who didn't rush over, and even some experts, started to turn into metal. What happened? At that moment, the Allied army started to panic. Suddenly, someone discovered that the metal power was coming from the alchemy stones in their bodies, and he angrily cursed, "Despicable Qin, trash Qin, Qin is a villain and Qin is a bastard." The others who were not metallized immediately understood what was going on. An ordinary-looking woman angrily said, "Are you a bunch of pigs or a bunch of idiots? You dared to use Qin's Philosopher's Stone, now you know your wrongs, right?" A fair-skinned young man said angrily, "I'm going to be angered to death by you. Back then, I warned you not to use the Philosopher's Stone, but you still used it because you coveted its power." The ugly-looking young man said angrily, "We knew that there might be hidden dangers, but we only used it after checking that there were no problems. I don't know what despicable methods Qin used to prevent us from discovering these problems." The chubby middle-aged man also said angrily, "Trash Qin, your elder definitely won't trust him in the future and won't use anything from him. I'm so angry." An elderly man said with an unsightly expression, "No wonder Qin was so confident and dared to use such a small force to defend against us. So he had long since planned this. Now that our advantage is gone, what should we do?" The Philosopher's Stone had been set up before Zhao Fu had gone to the spirit domain, and he had not even used it when destroying the Devil Horn Empire. This caused the Alliance's people to let down their guard and use the Philosopher's Stone in large numbers. Now that Qin had suddenly used the Philosopher's Stone, the Alliance had not expected it at all. Some of the metal-bodied soldiers used their own power to defend against the alchemy power, while others could not and fell to the ground, howling in pain. The army, which had been charging forward ferociously, fell into chaos because of this. Swish, swish, swish. Bai Qi once again gave the order to attack, and arrows shot out from behind Qin, drawing out arcs in the sky and raining down on the Alliance's army. They pierced through the bodies of the Alliance's soldiers, causing blood to fly everywhere. This caused the expressions of the Alliance's experts to become quite unsightly. Seeing that their soldiers could not even retaliate, let alone attack Qin, they did not hesitate to give the order to retreat. Their orders caused the other Alliance leaders who had not used the Philosopher's Stone to become even more furious, and they hurriedly called out, "Don't retreat. If you retreat, the entire army will be finished. We still have half of our soldiers who have not used the Philosopher's Stone. We still have a chance of winning." However, the metal-bodied Alliance leaders immediately refused, saying, "If we stay here, we'll die. If you want to go, you can go. Who knows what terrifying methods Qin has?" The metal-bodied Alliance leaders continued to order their soldiers to retreat, and the soldiers at the front happily retreated. They understood the current situation and did not want to die here for nothing. Deserters in an army greatly affected the morale of the army, and now, it was not just 1 or 2 soldiers who had escaped but more than half of the army. Apart from the metal-bodied soldiers, some of the non-metal-bodied soldiers saw so many people run away and did not think about running away as well. Even though the non-metal-bodied Alliance leaders ordered their soldiers to quickly gather, they could not stop the army from collapsing. Swish, 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 another wave of arrows descended from the sky, piercing through the bodies of the Alliance soldiers. Blood flew everywhere, and pitiful cries continuously sounded out. This greatly hurt the Alliance soldiers' nerves, causing them to run away even more in fear. more and more people started to run away. Seeing this, the non-metal-bodied alliance leaders furiously cursed and could only give the order to retreat. They did not have the ability to change this situation, and if they did not retreat, they would only die. After all, the situation was simply too chaotic. Bai Qi looked at the countless retreating alliance soldiers and remained expressionless as he gave the order to chase after the escaping soldiers. Apex. Chapter 2596. Book 1, Chapter 41st. Chapter 41 St. The various factions quickly received news of the Alliance's defeat. The normal people were shocked. The Alliance had 80 billion soldiers while Qin had 10 billion. How had the Alliance been defeated so quickly? They were just too weak. The kingdom factions that were rushing over cursed out. What a bunch of trash. They didn't expect the Alliance to be so strong and just wanted them to delay Qin for a bit. But the Alliance couldn't even do such a simple thing, so they were furious. After Feng Xinsha heard this news, her good mood became quite ugly. She thought to herself, this alliance is so useless, they're even worse than trash. In actuality, Qin didn't expect to deal with them so quickly. If he knew that the alliance was so weak, Qin would have only needed to send 5 billion soldiers to deal with them. Now, pretty much everyone was cursing the alliance. The alliance had fled back with their faces covered in dirt and felt like they had no face to see anyone. After Qin dealt with the threat of the alliance, he could now focus on dealing with the Aeolian Empire. The various kingdoms understood the urgency of the situation and hurried over to Qin's side. Feng Xinsha also felt a huge pressure. Although the hurricane was blowing at Qin, causing Qin to be on the defensive, she didn't have much confidence. As expected, in just a few seconds, Zhao Fu gave another order. The soldiers raised the weapons in their hands and sent waves of alchemy power into them. An extremely sharp aura spread out, seeming as if it could cut open one's skin. Countless sharp auras continuously condensed in the sky, forming a massive saber that gave off an incredibly sharp aura. Even from far away, one could feel its sharpness, and it could easily cut through steel. The heavens and earth seemed to become austere and desolate. Hong! The massive saber was raised and slashed down, giving off a massive sound. A massive saber light slashed towards the Aeolian Empire with the power to split open the heavens and earth. It was like a bolt of lightning that no one could block. The terrifying hurricane was slashed apart by the saber, turning into chaotic currents that spread to the side. A ravine was also formed on the ground. Bang! A deafening sound rang out as the terrifying blade light slashed onto the defensive barrier of the Aeolian Empire. A terrifying shockwave spread out, and many cracks instantly appeared on the sturdy defensive barrier. Feng Xinsha's expression was serious as she immediately called out, "Activate the magic formation's third form." The huge cyan magic formation suddenly stopped operating, and the countless rays of light it emitted also retracted. The countless rays of light condensed above the magic formation. It had no facial features and only had a pair of sapphire-like eyes. It held an azure scimitar in one hand and gave off an extremely terrifying aura. This was the wind spirit god that was formed by the formation. It could control the power of heaven and earth, and its strength was extremely shocking. Swish, 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 the wind spirit god waved the scimitar in his hand, and countless wind forces gathered in an instant, forming countless cyan wind blades. They shot toward the Qin soldiers in an overwhelming manner, as if they could cut everything into pieces. The scene was extremely frightening. At this moment, Zhao Fu also ordered countless soldiers to condense alchemy power. A huge amount of alchemy power condensed in front of the army and quickly formed a huge metal shield. Bang! Bang! The terrifying wind blades that blotted out the sky and covered the earth collided with the metal shield, producing loud sounds. Countless gales blew out, the sound was deafening. However, even though the sounds were quite shocking, they did not harm Qin's soldiers. Zhao Fu immediately ordered the alchemy saint beasts and devil beasts to attack. Boom! 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 Beams of demonic light containing immense power shot towards the wind god defensive barrier. As they struck the defensive barrier, light shined everywhere, and many cracks appeared on the defensive barrier. Feng Xunsha immediately called out, "Activate the city wall's defenses." Cyan runes floated out of the city walls, forming gusts of wind. More accurately speaking, they were like streams of water that continuously flowed around the city walls. A powerful wind spread out, and not only did the defensive barrier become stronger, but the city walls also became incredibly firm. Chi, chi, chi! Countless large cyan birds flew out from behind the Aeolian Empire. Each of them was 1,000 meters long and had green feathers. There was a crown on their heads and their gazes were incredibly sharp. These were large creatures that the Aeolian Empire had nurtured, and they were called bright wind birds. After the countless bright wind birds appeared, they flapped their wings and created a massive cyan gale that blew towards Qin's devil beast. This cyan gale was not simple at all and was as sharp as a blade. As it hit the ground, a layer of the ground was shaved off. Facing this sharp cyan gale, the devil beasts released their devil chi barriers and the alchemy saint beasts gave off boundless holy light, easily blocking this gale. The bright wind birds only dared to attack from afar because they did not have as many people as Qin's side. If they all charged over, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Seeing that the bright wind birds were not of much use, Feng Xunsha immediately had the soldiers gather the wind attribute energy within their bodies. Countless traces of cyan aura gathered around the Aeolian Empire and continuously condensed, forming 1,000-meter-tall soldiers wearing armor and holding spears. "Kill!" These soldiers loudly shouted and brought with them waves of cyan gale as they rushed towards Qin's soldiers. They were incredibly fast and in the next moment, they arrived in front of the shield that Qin had condensed and vigorously attacked it, causing massive sounds to ring out. The soldiers' power was quite shocking, and as the soldiers attacked, some cracks appeared on the metal shield. The bright wind birds continued to flap their wings, creating wild gales to attack Qin's devil beast. The wind spirit god once again attacked. It swung its cyan scimitar, bringing with it countless cyan wind blades as it slashed towards Qin's soldiers. At this moment the situation seemed to be reversed. It was as if Qin's side was defending while the Aeolian Empire was attacking. Feng Xunsha had no choice but to do this. She knew that she was not a match for Qin's soldiers, so she could only furiously attack to stall for time. As long as the various royal kingdom soldiers arrived, they would be saved. Facing the Aeolian Empire's ferocious attacks, more and more cracks appeared on the metal shield, and it seemed like it would shatter in a few hits. Zhao Fu understood Feng Xunsha's goal, so he did not hesitate to counterattack. Archers walked out from behind Qin's army, and took out talisman arrows and knocked them on their bows. They drew their bows to their limits and aimed at the countless wind god soldiers. Swish, 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 the arrows turned into rays of light as they shot out, bringing with them terrifying power. They drew arcs in the air, seeming to be able to pierce through everything as they shot towards the massive wind god soldiers. The wind god soldiers swung their spears, bringing with them strong gales, wanting to stop the talisman arrows from descending. Chapter 2597. Book 1, Chapter 42, Seal. Chi, chi, chi! Talisman arrows descended and easily pierced through the massive soldiers. The wind god soldiers' bodies collapsed and turned into traces of green aura before dissipating. The soldiers who had condensed countless wind god soldiers were also affected, and a trace of blood leaked out of their mouth. However, their situation was not serious. At the same time, massive ballistae appeared behind Qin. Boom, boom, boom! The sound of the air being torn could be heard as massive arrows shot out, giving off immense power and speed as they shot towards the wind god bird. This caused the countless wind god birds to stop attacking and hide within the defensive barrier. At that moment, Zhao Fu raised a hand and the countless soldiers' bodies gave off waves of black aura and flooded towards Zhao Fu. Roar! A heaven-shaking dragon's roar sounded out as the countless traces of black aura condensed into an enormous black dragon that gave off a domineering and noble aura and an extremely terrifying might. Zhao Fu's hand descended and the massive black dragon gave off a massive aura as it ferociously rushed towards the Aeolian Empire. Boom! The wind spirit god vigorously swung its scimitar, giving off an even greater wind that formed even more green wind blades. They gave off sharp auras as they flooded towards the black dragon. Facing so many incoming wind blades, the black dragon did not feel any fear at all. Its body gave off a black light and gave off a powerful aura as it charged forwards. Bang! 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 The black dragon's power was extremely terrifying. It knocked away the wind blades that were shooting over like a tide, and the wind blades that were knocked away immediately turned into countless specks of light. The black dragon's speed was also extremely fast, and it charged towards the wind god empire like a hot knife through butter. Bang! A massive explosion once again sounded out as the massive black dragon smashed into the defensive barrier with terrifying power, causing a massive shockwave to ripple out. Crack! A clear sound rang out as the firm green defensive barrier shattered, and the black dragon turned into traces of black aura and dissipated. Now that the defensive barrier had been destroyed, it was time to launch an all-out attack. However, just as Zhao Fu was about to give the order to attack, Feng Xunsha also gave the order to activate the final defense. The massive wind spirit god turned into countless azure streams of air and flowed towards the city walls. The countless azure runes absorbed this power and gave off boundless light, forming azure energy blocks in front of the city walls. One by one, the soldiers stepped forward and cut open their palms, injecting their blood into them. After absorbing the blood, the countless energy blocks seemed to have a life of their own, casually forming a defensive wall in midair. This was the last defense of the Aeolian Empire. If it was broken by Qin again, the Aeolian Empire could only confront Qin head-on. However, in a direct confrontation, she did not have much of an advantage at all. Qin had far more large creatures than Wind God. In terms of soldiers, Qin was also much stronger. Moreover, Qin had various types of soldiers. Now, her only advantage was the defense of the city wall. Why haven't the people from the various kingdoms arrived yet? At this moment of life and death, Feng Xunsha was no longer as domineering and powerful as she usually was, and she felt incredibly anxious. Looking at the defensive wall that had appeared, Zhao Fu immediately ordered the god refinement beasts and devil beasts to attack the defensive wall and destroy it as soon as possible. Whoosh, 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 just as the god refinement beasts and devil beasts were about to attack, countless wind birds flew out, stirring up wild gales as they attacked Qin's devil beasts. Moreover, they did not have any intention of retreating, and they directly charged at Qin's devil beasts. It seemed that Feng Xunsha was going all out in order to defend and planned to sacrifice some wind birds to stall Qin's attack. Zhao Fu did not hesitate. A direct confrontation was advantageous to Qin, so he ordered all of the devil beasts and god refinement beasts to attack the wind birds. Bang, 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 the devil beasts and devil beasts started to fight intensely with the wind birds in the sky, causing powerful gales to blow out. A demonic beast opened its mouth and bit down on the bright wind bird's body, tearing off a piece of flesh from its body. Blood splattered everywhere, and a bright wind bird shot out a wind cone, piercing through a demonic beast's body. Another devil beast savagely sent a wind bird flying. The wind bird used its sharp claws to claw open a few wounds on a devil beast's body, and a devil beast shot out a devil race pillar, sending another wind bird flying. Because there were many devil beasts on Qin's side, some devil beasts bullied a wind bird, and the god refinement beasts on the ground could help. Even though it was difficult for them to attack because they were mixed together, they could aim their cannons at the wind birds and attack when they had the chance. In just a short period of time, many wind birds had died. However, Feng Xunsha was not stupid enough to send all of her wind birds to their deaths. After seeing the wind birds stall Qin's devil beast, she had the wind birds stop fighting with Qin's devil beast and choose to hide. At that moment, Zhao Fu ordered people to aim massive ballistae at the Aeolian Empire's final defensive wall. The ballistae were filled with disaster pearls and talisman stones, and they contained massive destructive power. They would most likely be able to break through the Aeolian Empire's defenses. Seeing the massive ballistae aimed at her, Feng Xinsha felt a chill in her heart and hurriedly said, "Wait, I have something to tell you." Zhao Fu felt quite startled and had his people stop attacking before calling out, "What is it? If you surrender, I'll immediately stop attacking the Aeolian Empire." Feng Xinsha anxiously thought to herself. In actuality, she did not have anything to talk to Zhao Fu about. She had just said that in a moment of desperation, wanting Zhao Fu to temporarily stop attacking. Soon, Feng Xinsha said, "My Aeolian Empire can give half of its territory and half of its residents to Qin's devil beast. Also, don't you like women? You can choose any woman in my Aeolian Empire as long as you let off the Aeolian Empire this once." Right now, Feng Xinsha could only endure the discomfort and beg for mercy. However, she only said it and did not intend to do it. Her goal was to stall for time. Zhao Fu was not stupid and coldly laughed. "Since you're not surrendering, there's nothing else to say. Fire!" Boom! 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 Massive explosions sounded out in all directions as the ballistae turned into massive rays of light that contained terrifying power as they shot towards the Aeolian Empire, seeming to cause the air to explode. Feng Xinsha's expression was quite unsightly, and she quickly ordered her people to desperately defend. Bang! Bang! Massive explosions sounded out as the beams of light slammed into the defensive wall. The massive power pierced through the defensive wall and shattered it, but the beams of light also dissipated. It could be seen that the defensive wall was incredibly sturdy. Now that the Aeolian Empire did not have any defensive methods, it was time to launch an all-out attack. Chapter 2598. Book 1. Chapter 43. At this time, the other kingdoms had also arrived at the border, only 3 worlds away from Qin. There were 11 royal kingdom-level factions, including the number 1 sect in the ancient stem domain, the ancient sword sect, and their disciples were led by Jian Yin. At that time, the head of the ancient sword sect sent someone to tell Qin to behave himself and not to attack the Aeolian Empire. However, Qin completely ignored the people sent by the ancient sword sect and continued to attack the Aeolian Empire, not placing the number 1 faction in the ancient stem domain in his eyes at all. The ancient sword sect's sect master was furious and ordered Jian Yin to lead an army to attack Qin and take the head of Qin's ruler. Now, the various armies were mainly following Sword Cry. After all, he was the top-ranked faction, so they naturally had to give him face. The Bear Mountain Kingdom, the 8 Sons Dragon sect, the Nether Yin dynasty, and many other factions were among them. Apart from them, Li Baiqing and Su Yan also brought some people to join them. They did not bring many soldiers with them, only around 2 billion or so. Of course, they would not foolishly charge up, so they chose to merge with the armies of the various kingdoms. The other factions did not have many soldiers either, only having 1/8 of their forces, which was 5 billion soldiers. However, in total, they had 50 billion soldiers. Most importantly, these 50 billion soldiers were Stage 2 soldiers, which was equivalent to 200 billion Stage 1 soldiers. As a border kingdom, the Qin kingdom mainly had Stage 1 soldiers. Even though it had 60 billion soldiers, most of them were Stage 1 soldiers and could not defend against the other kingdoms. As such, many people felt that the Qin kingdom would be destroyed, as the disparity in strength was too great. At this time, Jian Yin also received the news that the Aeolian Empire could not resist, so he immediately shouted, "Speed up the march. We must arrive before Qin breaks through the Aeolian Empire." Jian Yin was very interested in Feng Xinsha and wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to obtain her. Long Yang said with a smile, after we conquer Qin's state, we can give up everything else, but all the women in Qin's harem will belong to us. A bald big man, Emoli, who had been on good terms with the Devil Horn Empire, called out unhappily, "What do you mean it's all yours? I'm here for that woman, Qin." Xiong Shao smiled proudly and said, "I can give you ordinary women, but I want those famous women in Qin." Yu Yueqian of the Nether Yin dynasty said calmly, "Women, you can go there. We only want Qin's treasures and resources." Gu Qingyue snorted, "We haven't conquered Qin city yet. Why are you quarreling?" Xiong Shao said with a confident smile, "This time, the various kingdoms have joined forces. Wouldn't it be easy to destroy a border country? This Qin is a bit out of place in the border region, but it's a pity that they are facing us." Emoli shouted angrily, "I've wanted to beat this Qin for a long time. He killed my good friend Yao Ming. This time, I'll definitely make him die an ugly death, and take all of his women to enjoy." Li Baiqing, who had fought with Zhao Fu many times and was very familiar with Zhao Fu, said, "Qin city is not as simple as you think. Even though we have the advantage, it's best to be careful." Jianin said with a trace of condescension, "It's just a border faction that can only bully the surrounding factions. Facing us, no matter how many tricks he has, it's useless. You might be afraid of him, but we're not afraid at all." Hearing this, Li Baiqing felt quite angry. He definitely was not afraid of Zhao Fu. From his understanding of Zhao Fu, Qin city's strength was unfathomable and far more terrifying than these people could imagine. These people had not fought with Qin city before, so they did not know. Bing Qixue did not say anything. He felt that Qin city was not simple, so he had tried to persuade his kingdom not to attack Qin city. However, the Ice Origin Kingdom had still decided to attack and had asked him to lead. As such, Bing Qixue could only agree and hope that they would be able to successfully destroy Qin city. At that moment, a valiant-looking young man wearing black armor and giving off a powerful aura led a group of people over. He was Great Qin's General Meng Tian. Meng Tian looked at the armies in front of him with a serious expression. The soldiers behind him were all dressed in black armor and held spears covered with runes. "Attack!" Meng Tian coldly shouted. Qin city's soldiers obeyed and immediately threw out their spears. The spears gave off immense power as they shot towards the armies of the various royal kingdoms, leaving behind traces in the air. Seeing tens of thousands of spears shoot over, the armies of the various royal kingdoms stopped. To the billions of soldiers, these tens of thousands of spears were like tens of thousands of pieces of cotton. They did not pose any threat at all. Jian Yin and the others felt quite disdainful. However, what was surprising was that the spears did not attack them and instead landed on the ground, causing magic formations to appear. Li Baiqing's expression fell as he called out, "Those are Qin city's teleportation spears. Hurry and use sealing power to lock down this region." Just as he spoke, a ferocious, savage, bloodthirsty, desolate, and massive aura erupted out like a volcano. Sensing this terrifying aura, the army's expressions fell. Rumble! A massive sound rang out as countless insect beasts surged out from the teleportation formations. Some looked like ants, but they were 3 meters long. Some looked like cockroaches, but they had black fur. Some looked like centipedes, but they had 4 horns. Some looked like scorpions, but they had a ghost face on their backs. Seeing these insects, countless people felt quite confused. How could insects from the outer world appear in the heaven-awakened world? He turned his gaze towards the chaos world. Aracena led the god emissaries and flew in the sky, giving off a powerful aura. On the ground, countless insects flooded forwards, chasing after Aracena and the others in the sky. In the sky, Aracena and the others did not feel afraid or nervous at all as they had attracted the countless insect beasts. The countless insectoids sensed something and gave up on chasing Aracena and the others. However, they continued to charge forward with great momentum. This was because there was a massive and firm building ahead that gave off an even greater aura. Sensing this aura, countless insects madly rushed over. This building was quite strange. 3 massive doors were already open, allowing the insects to enter. After the countless insects entered, they followed a massive passageway and continued onwards, and they became even more berserk because they sensed an even greater and purer heaven-awakened world aura. Their hatred towards the heaven-awakened world was already engraved in their bloodlines, and madly killing and destroying everything related to the heaven-awakened world had become their instincts. Chapter 2599. Book 1. Chapter 44. There were firm city walls beside the massive passageway, and there were some who did not follow the rules and climbed up. However, the city walls immediately gave off a light as a massive gravitational force weighed down on them, causing countless insects to fall off. The gravitational force did not harm the insects, so they did not panic or become agitated, and they continued to charge forwards. The flood of insects flowed through the passageway into a large hole, which gave off a heaven-awakened world aura. This caused the insects to become even more excited as they rushed in, wanting to destroy everything. However, before they could react, their bodies were pulled in another direction by a massive force. Following this, the insects arrived in a massive space. Sensing the countless heaven-awakened world creatures around them, the insects felt as if they were going to go crazy and destroy everything. However, they were once again pulled away by a massive force and appeared on a grassy plain. Sensing the countless heaven-awakened world creatures in front of them, the countless insects did not hesitate or fear and madly charged at those people. Great Sheen had long since prepared this method to deal with the insect beasts in the outer world and had only started to use it today. Seeing the countless insects ferociously charge over, the soldiers of the various royal kingdoms immediately formed a shield wall. Because they were too close, they could not use any of their abilities and could only quickly defend. Bang! 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 The countless insects ferociously smashed against the shield wall, and the soldiers of the various royal kingdoms vigorously pressed against the shield wall. As soldiers of the inner regions of the ancient STEM domain, they were not weak, and they were able to forcibly stop the oncoming insects. The spearmen and bladed soldiers in the back vigorously swung their weapons, bringing out cold lights as they killed the incoming insects. The insects' blood splattered everywhere as their painful cries continuously sounded out. Their corpses quickly covered the ground, and the ground was dyed with different colors of blood. This did not make the insects feel afraid, and they instead became even more berserk. They madly charged at the soldiers of the various royal kingdoms, and some of them vigorously leapt over the shield wall and landed amongst the soldiers, attacking them. A mantis-like insect beast swung its pincers, slashing apart 3 or 4 soldiers' bodies, causing blood to spurt out. An ant-like insect beast jumped in and bit one of the soldiers, causing the soldier to howl in pain. A scorpion-like insect beast ferociously stabbed forwards with its stinger, piercing through a soldier's chest. The scorpion swung its tail, flinging the soldier's corpse away. An earthworm-like insect beast sprayed out acid, which landed on a few soldiers' bodies. The intense corrosion caused the soldiers to howl as they died. The various kingdoms hurriedly retreated and pulled away from the insect beast. The soldiers all gave off their powers and defensive barriers appeared, covering the armies and keeping the insect beasts outside. Shio shio shio, sharp arrows shot out from the back of the army, falling down like rain, piercing through countless insect beasts' bodies. Countless cries of pain sounded out as countless insect beasts were killed, and many more insect beasts' corpses littered the ground. Countless insect beasts attacked the barrier ferociously, causing many cracks to appear on the barrier. The soldiers within the barrier attacked the insect beasts in an orderly manner. Arrows and cold lights shot towards the insect beasts, killing them in large numbers. Swordcry and the others' expressions became serious and no longer dared to underestimate Sheen. They had never thought that Qin would have so many insect beasts, and they had just lost many soldiers. Everyone understood that those magic formations were teleportation channels, and they naturally understood why Li Baiqing had told them to unleash sealing power. After unleashing sealing power, these teleportation channels would not be able to be used. The various royal kingdoms brought a large number of soldiers and experts. They immediately flew into the sky and massive power spread out, locking down the surrounding space. The surrounding space was locked down, and the teleportation channels lost their power. The countless insect beasts that had flooded out from the teleportation channels also disappeared. Without the insect beasts coming out to fill up the gaps, the remaining insect beasts were quickly killed by the various armies. Meng Tian quickly led her people and retreated. Li Baiqing looked at the countless insect corpses and said seriously, "Do you understand now? Qin is not as simple as you think. If you want to destroy Qin, you have to be careful." Sword Cry and the others fell silent. Before, they had mocked the alliance for being too weak and the Devil Horn Empire for being useless. Now that they had personally fought with Qin, they understood that it was not that the alliance was too weak and the Devil Horn Empire was useless, but that Qin was truly terrifying. Sword Cry called out, "Let's continue onwards. Everyone, be careful." Following this, the armies gave off massive auras as they continued onwards. If nothing happened, they would be able to reach the Aeolian Empire soon and face Qin head-on. However, they did not go very far before an even larger horde of insect beasts was waiting for them. Just then, Meng Tian had only teleported a portion of the insect beasts here to stall the armies for a while before teleporting a large number of insect beasts together. Sword Cry and the others looked quite shocked as they looked at the boundless ocean of insect beasts. How did Qin have such terrifying abilities? He had too many insect beasts. Rumble, the ocean-like horde of insect beasts gave off world-destroying auras as they charged towards the armies, seeming as if nothing could stop them. This power caused the heavens and earth to change colors, and winds blew and clouds swirled as the sun and moon dimmed. The armies had long since gotten into defensive formations, and massive energy barriers gave off immense power as they covered the armies. Two extremely terrifying auras filled this place, causing the temperature to plummet. The countless creatures living here felt as if they were in a world of ice and snow, and their bodies uncontrollably trembled as their souls were greatly shaken. Bang! 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 Massive sounds rang out as the countless insect beasts smashed against the defensive barriers and madly attacked them. The armies also started to counterattack. They did not plan to hold back and focused on attacking the massive insect beasts, or else they might die at their hands. Within the ancient sword sect, the disciples pointed their swords at the insect beasts and gave off countless traces of sword chi. The countless disciples' sword chi formed a lake of sword chi, giving off an incredibly sharp aura that seemed to be able to cut apart rocks. Swish, 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 countless traces of sword chi shot out from the terrifying lake of sword chi incredibly quickly and incredibly sharp. They instantly cut apart insect beasts' bodies, causing blood to spurt out. 8 Suns Dragon sect the disciples gave off waves of orange aura, which gathered above them and formed orbs of light that gave off massive amounts of masculine power. Apex. Chapter 2600. Volume 1, Chapter 45, Seal. Bang. Bang! The orange orb of light quickly shot into the insect horde and caused massive explosions, sending many insect beasts flying. Some of their bodies were blasted apart and their corpses flew everywhere. The Nether-Een dynasty's soldiers gave off countless traces of grey ghostly chi, which gathered in front of them and continuously changed, and a massive cold and eerie power spread out. Arg! Countless howls sounded out from within the ghostly chi as terrifying ghostly creatures rushed out and quickly rushed at the insect beasts. They started to fight with the insect beasts, killing them one by one. Icy Origin Kingdom. The soldiers dressed in icy armor continuously gave off cold chi, which gathered around them. An icy power spread out, causing the temperature to fall and the ground to start to freeze. Whoosh! The terrifying cold air surged towards the insect beasts like a tidal wave, instantly submerging them one by one. The insect beasts were quickly frozen to death, their bodies covered in a layer of white frost. The various factions' powers were quite terrifying, and they unleashed all sorts of powerful methods. Soon, they had killed a large number of insect beasts, causing the ferocious aura that the insect beasts gave off to quickly fall. The insect beasts madly attacked the defensive barriers, causing some cracks to appear on them. However, it would take some time to break through them. Roar! 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 Massive dragon roars sounded out as insect den wyverns flapped their wings and appeared in the sky, giving off massive power. Boom! 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 In the next second, the countless insect den wyverns shot out massive beams of light that contained destructive power. They were incredibly fast, seeming to be able to pierce through everything as they shot towards the defensive barriers, causing the air to tremble. Bang! 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 The beams of light hit the defensive barriers, resulting in massive sounds, and the light that the defensive barriers gave off dimmed. The countless insect beasts attacked the defensive barriers even more ferociously. Bang! A shattering sound rang out as the first defensive barrier was destroyed. Countless insect beasts madly rushed in and started to ferociously and furiously fight with those people. Powerful ripples spread out as blood flew everywhere, and the sounds of fighting continuously sounded out. Bang! 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 The other defensive barriers were also destroyed, and the various armies started to fight with the insect beast. The battlefield fell into chaos, and the ground was littered with dead soldiers and insect beasts. Boom! 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 The various factions did not hesitate and released the large creatures that they had nurtured, causing terrifying auras to spread out like a tidal wave. The ancient sword sex large creature was a white cow with swords stuck in its head. The 8 Suns dragon sex large creature had a dragon's head, a lizard's body, and golden scales. The Nether Een dynasty's large creatures were massive ghosts, and the Ice Origin Kingdom's large creatures were white foxes. All sorts of gigantic creatures joined the battle, ferociously attacking the countless insect beasts. The sword oxen charged at the insect beasts with formidable force, sending the insect beasts flying like gravel. The Nether Een dynasty's massive monster vigorously stomped on the ground, and a massive force descended, causing many insect beasts to be trampled to death. The Ice Origin Kingdom's fox also spat out countless traces of cold air, freezing a large portion of the insect beast. The countless insect beasts did not show any fear and flooded towards the large creatures. They bit at the large creatures' bodies and tore off large pieces of flesh, causing the large creatures to howl. The insect den wyverns also started to attack the large creatures in the sky, shooting terrifying rays of light towards them. Because there were so many insect beasts, Zhao Fu could not control them. If Qin's people were here, they would also be attacked. The insect den wyverns had insect beasts' power, and countless insect beasts acknowledged them, so they would not be attacked by the insect beast. Qin had sent 90% of the insect den wyverns here to help the insect beasts attack the armies. However, the advantage of the countless insect den wyverns and the insect den wyverns was not very great. The royal kingdom's soldiers and large creatures were all quite powerful, and countless insect beasts were killed while the insect den wyverns were not injured at all. In the outer world, Ericina and the god emissaries continued to attract large numbers of insect beasts into the passageway. This time, the teleportation channel used top-grade spatial stones, and ordinary sealing power would not be able to seal it. They needed even more powerful sealing power to seal the space and make the teleportation channel lose its effectiveness. Only by continuously adding in insect beasts could they make up for the loss of insect beasts. The two sides continuously fought, and the number of insect beasts and people dying continuously increased. Blood dyed the ground red, and there were corpses everywhere. The battlefield was incredibly intense. By now, the number of insect beasts was slowly decreasing because Ericina had lured all of the nearby insect beasts into the passageway and had them enter the heaven-awakened world to fight with the royal kingdoms. There were not many insect beasts nearby, and if they wanted to attract more insect beasts, they would have to go further away. However, this would take up a lot of time, and even if they lured more insect beasts over, the battle would most likely be over. As such, Ericina could only stop attracting more insect beasts. As the insect beasts stopped flowing in, the number of insect beasts naturally decreased. However, they helped Qin deal a heavy blow to the royal kingdom's armies. The battle continued, and without any more insect beasts joining in, the insect beasts became smaller and smaller. The army's advantage became greater and greater, and the armies all let out sighs of relief. At that moment, dozens of insect beasts stealthily snuck into the crowd of insect beasts and arrived in front of the armies. 3-meter-wide metal orbs appeared from their bodies, giving off intense light. Alchemy runes also appeared, giving off an incredibly dangerous feeling. Bang! 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 Heaven-shaking explosions sounded out as blinding white light spread out, and a world-destroying power spread out. The ground, rocks, grass, and trees were instantly destroyed, and countless soldiers and insect beasts were covered by the light. The ground violently trembled as a shock wave ferociously spread out. A destructive aura flooded out, and countless sand and dust were blown into the sky, forming a massive mushroom cloud. After the shock waves dissipated, there were 40 or so massive craters in the ground, and there were countless rocks and wood fragments, as well as the corpses of countless soldiers and insect beasts. Those dozens of insect beasts had been nurtured by Qin, and they had exploded because Zhao Fu had used the taboo orbs that he had obtained from the alchemist. The Hu family had used all of the taboo orbs that they had worked so hard to create. The effects were incredibly shocking, and it was mainly because they caught the royal kingdoms by surprise. They had caused nearly 2 billion casualties to the armies of the royal kingdoms. Chapter 2601. Book 1, Chapter 46. Facing the armies, countless insects had been killed, and the remaining insects were terrified and escaped. The people from the various kingdoms looked at the scene of devastation and corpses. The various kingdoms had brought 50 billion soldiers, but after the insects' attacks and explosions, there were only 27 billion soldiers left, and almost half of them had died. The remaining people were more or less injured and had used up a lot of their strength. Their bodies were covered with blood of various colors, and they looked quite wretched. They hadn't even fought with Qin, and they had already suffered so many casualties. Qin's strength was simply terrifying, and the people from the various kingdoms felt a trace of fear towards Qin. Everyone turned to look at Jianin. Should they continue to advance in this situation? There could be countless dangers waiting for them ahead. Some people planned to retreat because they had suffered too many losses and did not want to lose all of their forces here. 1/8 of their forces was incredibly important to a kingdom, and if they lost all of their forces, it would be a great loss to the kingdom. Li Baiqin could tell what they were thinking and said, "With my understanding of Qin, I think that Qin has no other methods. This is Qin's most powerful method. If he had, he would have destroyed all of the surrounding factions long ago and would not have waited until now to attack the Aeolian Empire. Right now, the Qin Empire's main forces are fighting with the Aeolian Empire, and they don't have many soldiers to stop us. This is a good opportunity to destroy Qin. If we miss it, we won't have another chance in the future." Jianin said, "I think so too. Qin no longer has any soldiers to stop us, which is why he released countless insects. Now is a good opportunity to destroy Qin, so let's continue onwards." Baldy Moli yelled, "That trash Qin killed so many of our soldiers. How can you endure this? I won't retreat. I'll destroy Qin, kill all of Qin's men, and take all of Qin's treasures and women." Hearing this, everyone thought for a moment before nodding and continuing onwards. Rumble, a powerful aura that could topple the mountains and overturn the seas, ferociously attacked them, causing the expressions of countless people to change greatly as they hurriedly looked forward. An army appeared in front of them. This time, the army was very strange. Some of them were emitting ghost chi, some seemed to be from the gold refiner race, some looked like soldiers from the celestial world, and some looked like people from the card world. What was going on? Why were there so many people from different worlds gathered together? Everyone had a strange look on their faces, but they looked at the flag they were holding. It was Qin's Black Dragon blood flag. These people all belonged to Qin. Moreover, their auras were not weak, and many of them were stage 2 soldiers. More importantly, there were more than 20 billion of them. Everyone felt quite startled. When had Great Qin hidden such a powerful army? They didn't know anything about this. They really underestimated Qin. Bing Qishue directly said, "My ice origin kingdom will no longer advance. All soldiers, listen to me and prepare to retreat." Before, everyone had thought that Great Qin did not have much of an army and would be able to easily destroy Great Qin. However, now that Great Qin had suddenly sent out such a powerful army, they were all injured and had used up a lot of their strength, while the other side was still in peak condition. If the two sides fought, their side did not have much of an advantage. Even if they could win, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. They did not know how many soldiers would die, so there was no need to advance. Gu Qingyue also called out, "The ancient god sect will no longer advance and prepare to retreat." Everyone else also said that they would no longer advance and retreat. They were not stupid and knew that advancing would not have a good outcome. They would not go in and die. Jian Yin felt quite angry. Even though he wanted to destroy Qin, he could not allow his army to charge over. If that happened, they would definitely lose. Long Yang understood that they could no longer advance, and he felt quite furious. Li Baiqing coldly looked at the army in front of him. He understood that their attack on Qin had failed, and that they could not kill Zhao Fu. Li Baiqing felt even more hatred. Seeing that everyone wanted to retreat, Jian Yin did not insist and said, "Everyone, let's retreat." Hearing that they were retreating, the various armies let out a sigh of relief. They understood the current situation and felt that Great Qin was truly terrifying. The various armies started to retreat in an orderly manner. Qin's soldiers let out sighs of relief. If they had fought with the various royal kingdoms, they would have lost countless soldiers and the various factions would have been heavily injured. Their goal was to stop the various royal kingdoms' armies from advancing. Now that they had achieved their goal, they did not continue to chase after the various royal kingdoms' armies. The news of the alliance retreating was already surprising, and now that the various royal kingdoms' armies were also retreating, countless people looked quite confused. Once this news spread, it caused a massive uproar. Finally, back to the Aeolian Empire. Right now, Qin was fully attacking the Aeolian Empire. Countless Qin's soldiers and demon beasts flooded towards the Aeolian Empire. The Aeolian Empire shot out countless arrows, which rained down on Qin's soldiers. Unfortunately, many of the arrows were blocked by Qin's soldiers and did not cause much damage. The Aeolian Empire then released countless wind blades, bringing with them powerful storms towards Qin's soldiers. Many Qin's soldiers used Qin's power and alchemy power to condense shields, resisting the countless storms and continuing to rush forward. The Aeolian Empire no longer had any means of defense. After resisting the countless storms, Qin's soldiers finally came to the city wall and started to attack it. At that moment, the Aeolian Empire still did not know that the other kingdoms had retreated. They still had some hope, and they thought that as long as they stalled Qin's soldiers until the other kingdoms arrived, they would win. Countless heavy objects were thrown down from the sky, smashing down the Qin's soldiers who had climbed up the city wall. Arrows shot out and pierced through the bodies of Qin's soldiers, and many cold lights continuously attacked Qin's soldiers, causing many casualties to Qin's soldiers. At that moment, Qin's soldiers started to counterattack. Massive crossbow bolts containing great power broke through the storms and landed on the city wall. A wave of power spread out, causing the azure runes on the city wall to dim and disappear, and the storm created by the wind blades disappeared. Swish, 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 the countless archers behind Qin's soldiers also shot out arrows, which drew arcs in the air and shot towards the wind god soldiers. The arrows pierced through their bodies, causing blood to fly everywhere. Many flying demon beasts swooped down from the sky, sending the Aeolian Empire's soldiers flying. Some used their claws to tear apart the wind god soldiers' bodies, and some used their mouths to bite the wind god soldiers before throwing them away. Chapter 2602. Book 1, Chapter 47. Qin's attack was incredibly ferocious, and he was about to reach the city walls. Boom! An azure army gave off a massive gust of wind as it charged out from the side, charging into Great Qin's army like a hot knife through butter. The bodies of Great Qin's soldiers in front of them were instantly sliced apart, and their corpses and blood flew everywhere, creating a terrifying scene. These were 3 billion Stage 3 Aeolian Empire soldiers from the First Aeolian Empire, and they were Feng Shenche's greatest help in establishing the Aeolian Empire. When Stage 3 soldiers gathered together, their strength was incredibly terrifying, and they could suppress all other soldiers. The Wind God army continued to attack Great Qin's soldiers with a sharp and powerful aura. Boom! A blood-red army gave off an evil, twisted, and berserk power as it charged out from the side, giving off a terrifying aura that seemed to be able to kill everything. It was like a berserk beast as it charged towards the Green Army. This caused the expressions of the Aeolian Empire's army to fall. Bang! A huge sound rang out as the two armies fiercely collided, causing a terrifying shockwave to spread out. This blood-red army was mostly Stage 3, and some were even stronger than ordinary Stage 3 soldiers. They all looked savage and gave off a blood-red aura. Their appearances had greatly changed as well. Some had 3 eyes, some had 4 hands, some had a bull's head, some had fangs, some had wings, and some were covered in black scales. More than 1 billion of them were the Stage 3 Wind God soldiers that Qin had captured in the past. They had long since been turned into devils by Qin, and their strength was even more terrifying than before. They only listened to Zhao Fu's orders. There were also some powerful devils. The two sides clashed and began an intense battle. Even though the Aeolian Empire had more people, Qin's side was more ferocious. Feng Shenche's expression was quite unsightly. She had thought that this Stage 3 Wind God army would be of great use, even if it could only slow down Qin's advance. She had never thought that Qin would be able to stop them. On the other side, Qin's main force continued to attack the Aeolian Empire. Many Qin soldiers had already attacked the city wall. The two sides had officially started fighting. A Qin soldier wielded a long saber and chopped a Wind God soldier's head open. Another Wind God soldier thrust his spear and pierced through a Qin soldier's chest. An arrow suddenly shot out from below and pierced through the Wind God soldier's throat. A Wind God soldier swung his sword, sending out a green sword light that cut off the head of a Qin soldier. Blood spurted out from the neck, and a Qin soldier held a short axe and vigorously hacked into the back of a Wind God soldier. The battle was very fierce, and the number of people dying was increasing. However, it was obvious that Qin's soldiers, who were strengthened by various powers, were stronger. If this went on, the Aeolian Empire would definitely lose. Feng Shenche flew into the sky and raised her hand. A green feather appeared above her palm. This was the Aeolian Empire's nation armament, the Wind Spirit Divine Feather. Boom! Countless traces of fate flowed out from various parts of the Aeolian Empire and flooded into that feather. The feather gave off boundless green light, dyeing the sky azure, and a massive wave of Wind God power spread out. After receiving this power, the Wind God soldiers' bodies gave off faint green light, and they became stronger than before. This caused the Wind God army, whose morale had fallen, to feel invigorated, and they ferociously counterattacked the Qin soldiers. Boom! 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 Before the Wind God army could rejoice for too long, massive explosions sounded out as massive bronze soldier statues appeared in the sky, giving off an aura that seemed to be able to conquer the world and a massive might. Zhao Fu stood at the center of the bronze statues and coldly looked at Feng Xinsha as he said, "All resistance is useless." Boom! Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and pressed down, and the 12 bronze statues gave off boundless killing power that pressed down on the Aeolian Empire's nation armament. The Aeolian Empire's nation armament gave off a mournful hum, and the green light it gave off dimmed. Feng Xinsha's body trembled and her face became pale as a trace of blood leaked out of her lips. The sky gradually became blood-red. Qin's soldiers received power, and they attacked the Wind God army even more ferociously, killing countless people. The Aeolian Empire's nation armament was naturally not as powerful as Qin's, and it was directly suppressed by Qin's nation armament. Now, Feng Xinsha did not have any way to defend against Qin's attack. Her only hope was that the various armies would arrive soon. However, she immediately received a piece of news, causing her face to become even paler. She felt a sense of despair because the news was that the various royal kingdoms had retreated. How was this possible? How could such powerful armies suddenly retreat? Just what was Qin doing? By now, Zhao Fu had heard that Qin had successfully stopped the various royal kingdoms' armies, and a trace of a smile appeared on his face. The Aeolian Empire was destined to perish today. Feng Xinsha understood that the Aeolian Empire was doomed today. Seeing the empire that she had worked so hard to establish be destroyed, she felt incredibly pained. However, it was not as if she did not have a chance to take revenge. That chance was to return to the First Aeolian Empire. The First Aeolian Empire was a royal kingdom in the central region, and its basic forces were all at Stage 3. By relying on the First Aeolian Empire, she could still take revenge. Feng Xinsha did not hesitate and immediately turned and ran towards the Aeolian Empire's capital. Zhao Fu coldly laughed, still trying to run? Zhao Fu immediately chased after Feng Xinsha. Feng Xinsha looked at Zhao Fu and grabbed at the air, causing countless traces of green wind to form a wind whip. Feng Xinsha vigorously swung, and the wind whip lashed towards Zhao Fu with immense power, seeming to be able to shatter a mountain. However, Zhao Fu slashed out with a finger, sending out a black arc of light that instantly slashed apart the wind whip, causing it to turn into countless streams of air and dissipate. Feng Xinsha looked quite confused and cried out, "Emperor Heaven Realm!" From what Feng Xinsha remembered, Zhao Fu's cultivation was about the same as hers, and she might even be a bit stronger. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would instantly reach the Emperor Heaven Realm, and the Emperor Heaven Realm was the most powerful existence in the central region. Feng Xinsha wanted to use her nation armament, or else she would not be a match for Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu directly used his nation armament's power, forming a massive blood-red hand that grabbed towards Feng Xinsha. Feng Xinsha's nation armament was suppressed within her body, and she was unable to resist. She was caught by the blood-red hand, and she looked at Zhao Fu in fury and unwillingness. Below, after hearing about the retreating armies, the Aeolian Empire's army almost collapsed. Seeing that the ruler of the Aeolian Empire had escaped, the Wind God army also collapsed and madly ran for their lives. Qin easily took down the city walls, and the army flooded into the Aeolian Empire and quickly took down region after region. The Aeolian Empire's residents ran in terror, and the scene was incredibly chaotic. Chapter 2603. Book 1. Chapter 48. War. Soon, news of the Aeolian Empire's destruction spread, and everyone was no longer surprised. After all, the armies of the various kingdoms had been forced into retreat by Qin, so how could the Aeolian Empire defend against Qin's ferocious attacks? This battle shook the entire ancient stem domain, and even the surrounding domains heard about it. A tiny border kingdom had not only resisted the allied armies of a region, but it had also forced back the large kingdoms of the inner regions and destroyed an empire of the same level. How could they not be shocked by such terrifying power? The people from the other domains quickly gathered all information about Qin, wanting to know what kind of faction Qin was. The ancient stem domain's royal kingdoms and factions all fell silent. Back then, they had been able to casually destroy a small kingdom, but now, it had grown into such a terrifying existence. This caused them to feel a trace of fear. Was this still the small kingdom from back then? It had developed too quickly. Within the ancient sword sect, Jian Yin told the ancient sword sect's sect master everything that had happened. After hearing Jian Yin's words, the ancient sword sect's sect master was not as furious as before and instead became serious. He admitted that he had underestimated Qin before. He had never thought that a border kingdom would have such terrifying strength. Before, he had not been able to tell at all. If he had known, he would have destroyed it from the start. Now it would be difficult to destroy it. Moreover, he had never thought that Zhao Fu was that legendary disciple who had killed countless disciples and taken away the sect master's wife. Regardless of whether the ancient sword sect's sect master knew about this or not, after this matter, the ancient sword sect had become mortal enemies with the Qin Empire. The ancient sword sect's sect master was determined to destroy the Qin Empire. Heavenly Music Sect. The beautiful middle-aged woman looked quite confused. Hearing Yin Ruoshi's words, she had thought that Qin was finished. With Qin's strength, he would not be able to defend against the armies of the various kingdoms. However, what she had never thought was that the various armies had been forced back before they had even fought with Qin. Yin Ruoshi had stealthily followed the various armies to go to the Qin Empire and take advantage of the chaos to obtain some of Qin's legacies and treasures. However, before the armies had reached the Qin Empire, they had retreated, causing their plans to fail. The beautiful woman said softly, "Fortunately, we didn't send troops to attack Qin. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous for us to become enemies with such a terrifying faction. In the past, we truly underestimated him and thought that a small border kingdom was not a threat." Yin Ruoshi said, "Actually, when I first saw that Imperial Prince Qin, my intuition told me that he was a very terrifying person. This time, when the various countries attacked Qin, I actually thought that Master could save him, as he might be of great use to the Heavenly Music Sect. I didn't expect that Qin had hidden himself so deeply. The sea of insects and beasts released by Qin is enough to destroy a kingdom in the inner area. Fortunately, they were destroyed by the armies of other countries. I don't know how Qin did it." The beautiful woman also nodded seriously. "This Qin is unfathomable." 8 Sons Dragon Sect. After hearing about this, the sect master's expression became serious as he said, "That tiny Qin Empire has such power, the ancient stem domain will not be peaceful in the future." The mature woman next to her said worriedly, "That Imperial Prince Qin has many grievances with my son, and I'm worried that he will act against my son. My son might not be a match for such a person." Long Yang said dissatisfiedly, "Mother, I'm the 4th-ranked genius in the ancient stem domain, while he's just a small king from a border kingdom. How could I be inferior to him? If I fought him one-on-one, I would be able to kill him with a single hand." A cold-looking woman said seriously, "Long Heir, don't be unconvinced. You're indeed inferior to him. If you became the ruler of a new world, would you be able to make your kingdom into such a terrifying faction in just 10 or so years?" Hearing this, Long Yang knew that he would not be able to do such a thing, but he still said, "Second Mother, I won't compete with him in terms of leadership. I'll compete with him in terms of talent and power. That Imperial Prince Qin definitely isn't a match for me." The cold-looking woman sighed, "Long Heir, even though you're the 4th-ranked genius in the ancient stem domain, don't be too arrogant. There are many people more powerful than you, and that Imperial Prince Qin is a genius who single-handedly created such a powerful empire. Do you think he's a simple person? Long Yang fell silent. He had seen Zhao Fu before, but he had never fought with Zhao Fu before, so he did not know how strong Zhao Fu was. A beautiful woman with a gentle aura smiled as she said, "In the future, it's best that you don't get involved in this matter and leave it to your father to handle. Just focus on cultivating." Long Yang shook his head. "Third Mother, our sect and the Qin Empire have become enemies, and one side will definitely be destroyed. I don't want to retreat. I want to face Qin head-on, and I'll even personally destroy Qin." The sect master loudly laughed as he said, "That's more like my son. Don't worry, Dad will fully support you." Ice Origin Kingdom. Everyone in the palace fell silent. They now regretted not listening to Bing Qishue's words. Not only had they not destroyed Qin, but they had also gained such a terrifying enemy. Bing Qishue's expression was also quite serious. Even though the Ice Origin Kingdom had not listened to him and attacked Qin, he was still the prince of the Ice Origin Kingdom and the future ruler of the Ice Origin Kingdom. Offending Qin made him feel quite bad and gave him a headache. Was there anything that could be salvaged? There was nothing that could be salvaged. When they had decided to attack Qin, they had become enemies, and there was nothing that could be done to change this. An extremely beautiful woman with long, icy hair, she was Bing Qishue's big sister. She looked at everyone and gave off a proud aura as she said, "Our Ice Origin Kingdom is a powerful kingdom with over 1,000 years of foundation. How could we be afraid of a small border kingdom?" The middle-aged man sitting at the top said coldly, "Since things have turned out like this, there's nothing more to say between us and Qin. In the future, the Ice Origin Kingdom will use its full strength to destroy Qin." Everyone thought about it and nodded. Since both sides had become enemies, they could only use their full strength to destroy Qin, or else Qin would destroy them. Bing Qishue agreed with this decision because he could not resolve the current situation. He still did not know that Zhao Fu was that legendary disciple. If he knew about Zhao Fu's identity, he would have resolutely opposed it and even brought all sorts of gifts to Qin to apologize. Li Baiqing and Su Yan felt quite lonely as they returned to the Fire Origin Kingdom. They had held on to some hope that they would be able to destroy Qin and get rid of this mortal enemy of theirs, but they had still failed. This was a huge blow to them, and the current Qin was not the Qin they had known in the past. They reported this matter to the Fire Origin Kingdom's king. They had failed again and would most likely be punished by the Fire Origin Kingdom's higher-up. However, this time, the Fire Origin Kingdom's experts spoke for them. Chapter 2604. Book 1, Divine Inscriptions. Indeed, we can't blame them for this, and we can't even blame them for what happened last time. Now that we've personally seen the great Qin Empire, we know that it's more than 10 times more terrifying than we thought. Hearing this, everyone became serious. They could choose not to believe Li Baiqing's words, but they could not believe the Fire Kingdom's experts. Hearing the experts' words, everyone understood that the Qin Empire was truly terrifying. Another expert said, "Now we can confirm that even if the Fire Kingdom sends all of its power, it will not be able to destroy the Qin Empire. In the future, we should be more careful with regards to Qin." Hearing this, everyone's expressions became even more serious. The Fire Kingdom had most likely offended a faction that could destroy them. It was incredibly rare for a border kingdom to have such terrifying power. In the future, they could not underestimate the Qin Empire. Back at the Aeolian Empire, the Qin Empire's soldiers split into tens of groups and attacked regions. Because the Aeolian Empire's territory was incredibly large, Qin did not have the ability to swallow up the entire Aeolian Empire. The kingdoms around the Aeolian Empire did not dare to fight with Qin over the Aeolian Empire's territory. Right now, the Aeolian Empire was like a piece of fat meat in their mouths, and they could easily eat it without paying any price. However, they were too afraid of Qin. If they dared to fight with Qin over the Aeolian Empire's territory, Qin would directly attack their territory and destroy them. The Aeolian Empire's capital city was immediately conquered. Only after this place was conquered would an empire be officially destroyed. Moreover, the capital city contained countless resources and treasures, so it had to be conquered as soon as possible. The once incredibly powerful and domineering Aeolian Empire, which caused countless people to fear, had been destroyed and had become history. Now, only the Qin Empire was left, and the final owner of this land was the Qin Empire. The two empires that had been able to stop Qin, the Devil Horn Empire and the Phoenix God Empire, had been destroyed by Qin. Facing Qin's annexation, this region seemed quite powerless. No one could be a match for Qin. Even though there was a very powerful alliance, in everyone's eyes, this alliance was too weak. It was impossible for them to stop Qin and would be destroyed by Qin sooner or later. The imperial palace of the Aeolian Empire was also under Qin's control. Zhao Fu came to the main hall and looked at the handsome men squatting on the ground with iron chains tied around their necks. Zhao Fu said with a smile, "You are really a pervert. Do you want to make me like you?" On the side, Feng Shenche's hands were bound by a chain from Zhao Fu, and she coldly harumphed, "You won't be any better. That's right, I want to turn you into a male slave, and I enjoy this process. Seeing you crawl on the ground like a dog is the most pleasurable thing in the world." Zhao Fu did not become angry and smiled as he said, "You're still so arrogant. Aren't you afraid of what I'll do to you?" Feng Xinsha glared at Zhao Fu and said, "I know you won't kill me, you bastard, and you'll definitely use all sorts of methods to deal with me. However, there's nothing to fear about me. I advise you to kill me, or else I'll make you regret it in the future." Zhao Fu smiled as he lifted her chin and said, "Is that so?" Feng Xinsha angrily cried out, "Let go of your filthy hands." However, Zhao Fu did not let go. A few hours later, Zhao Fu called over the women from the mermaid world. Back then, Zhao Fu had agreed to come and help save their men. Now, Zhao Fu had fulfilled his promise. Seeing their men become like this, the women from the mermaid world felt immense heartache and started to cry. Zhao Fu looked at the crying women and said, "I'll send people to take care of them. As for whether or not they can return to normal, it'll be up to them." The women thanked Zhao Fu in gratitude. By the side, Feng Shenche's face was red as she said disdainfully, "Aren't you just as perverted? I turned their men into pets, but you turned them into your playthings. Now, you want them to thank you? You're even more disgusting than me." Now, Zhao Fu did not use chains to bind her and instead used his 6 desires demonic qi to control her. A beautiful woman furiously looked at Feng Xinsha and said, "You crazy woman, it's all your fault. You turned our men into this. Moreover, we all volunteered to become His Majesty's women, and His Majesty treats us very well." Hearing that someone was speaking up for Zhao Fu, Feng Xinsha felt even more angry. She had just been bullied by this bastard, and she said with killing intent, "If it was in the past, you wouldn't even know how you died." The beautiful woman was not afraid at all and said, "That was in the past. Now that the Aeolian Empire has been destroyed by His Majesty and you're in His Majesty's hands, you should worry about yourself." Feng Xinsha angrily glared at the beautiful woman. It was a pity that she did not have any power, or else she would have directly attacked. The beautiful woman looked at Feng Xinsha and gave a provocative smile as she said, "You've already received His Majesty's favor, right? Don't you like His Majesty?" Feng Xinsha's face became red and she did not say anything. Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said to the women, "You can all leave. I still have some things to do." Hearing this, the beautiful woman and the others nodded and left the palace. Zhao Fu sat on Feng Xinsha's throne and waited for the soldiers to send news about conquering the Aeolian Empire's territory. Even though the Aeolian Empire had been destroyed, there were still some people desperately resisting. This was quite normal. Zhao Fu looked at Feng Xunsha and said, "I don't want to kill too much. They're your people. You should give the order to all of them to surrender, or else they'll all die miserably." Feng Xunsha lightly harumphed and ignored Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu once again said, "Don't blame me for what I do to them." Feng Xunsha hurriedly said, "I understand." She did not want her loyal people to die miserably. Now that the Aeolian Empire had been destroyed by that fellow and she had been possessed by that bastard, she did not know what to do in the future. After Feng Xunsha gave the order to surrender, Qin faced much less resistance, and the people no longer desperately tried to escape. Qin's speed of annexing the Aeolian Empire became faster and faster. Zhao Fu sat on the throne and listened to the reports with satisfaction. At the same time, he thought about the future. No one in this region could stop Qin, and he just needed to develop steadily. Qin's focus should be on the alchemy world and the card world, especially the card world, which was the weakest and had to face a king-level faction. When the card world and the alchemy world developed better, he could prepare to awaken the Aqua Imperial Star. Lord Soldiers Conquers the World Chapter. Lord Soldiers Conquers the World Full Text Reading Address. /28810/ Lord Soldiers Conquers the World Download Address. Lord Soldiers Conquers the World Mobile Reading Address. /28810/ For convenience of reading next time, you can click Favorite below to record this, Chapter 2601. Great Qin Empire, Unsealed. Read the record, you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Lord Soldiers Conquers the World, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2605. Book 1. 50 Half a month later, Qin had completely taken control of the Aeolian Empire. He had obtained 10 or so worlds and hundreds of billions of people, and his strength had greatly increased. It was a slight pity that the Aeolian Empire's Stage 3 Wind God army had escaped quite quickly, and Qin had not been able to catch them. They had most likely escaped back to the First Aeolian Empire, and reported what had happened here to the First Aeolian Empire's people. The First Aeolian Empire was most likely quite furious. Putting aside the fact that it had suffered losses at Qin's hands a few times, the Second Aeolian Empire had been destroyed at Qin's hands, so their hatred towards him was immense. Nothing much happened during this period of time, and some factions that had not fought with Qin sent gifts to congratulate Qin. Now Qin's strength was unfathomable, and no one knew just how powerful he was. He was not any weaker than any faction in the ancient STEM domain, so of course everyone wanted to be on good terms with him. After Qin took control of the Aeolian Empire, Zhao Fu returned to Qin. In attacking the Aeolian Empire, Qin had gone all out and used all sorts of hidden cards. Otherwise, it would not have been so easy to destroy the Aeolian Empire. The teleportation channel had been the most useful, sending countless insects to the heaven-awakened world. Qin had used the insects to defend against the terrifying armies of the various kingdoms without losing a single soldier. It was a pity that there were not many insects near the outer world base, so he could not send countless insects over. The various kingdoms were worried that Qin would once again release an ocean of insects, so they did not attack for now. Otherwise, they might once again gather their forces to attack Qin. In order to be able to send countless insects the next time Qin faced danger, Zhao Fu did not go to the alchemy world or the card world and instead went to the outer world. As for Feng Xunsha, she was by his side. Feng Xunsha was extremely curious about this mysterious Qin, and she wanted to know how strong Qin was. When she had been forced to become Zhao Fu's subordinate and came to Qin, she had been shocked. Feng Xunsha would never have thought that the Qin Empire's strength would be so terrifying and that it had become a terrifying faction that swept through many worlds. All sorts of powerful methods and terrifying power had dealt a massive blow to her heart, and she now understood that it was not wrong for her to lose to the Qin Empire. What shocked Feng Xunsha the most was that she now knew who Zhao Fu was. He was the #1 person in the Heaven-Awakened world that the entire world was searching for. After knowing who Zhao Fu was, Feng Xunsha did not even have any thoughts of resisting Zhao Fu, and she felt incredibly powerless. Even though she was in the boundary region, she knew how terrifying the #1 person in the Heaven-Awakened world was. This time, he followed Zhao Fu to the chaotic world to see Qin's development on this side. After arriving at the chaos world, Zhao Fu saw Ericina and the other women. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "It's been hard on all of you." The insect beasts had been extremely useful in this battle, and it was Ericina and the others who had welcomed countless insect beasts. They had contributed greatly as well. Ericina lightly smiled as she said, "It's nothing." After saying this, Ericina looked at Feng Xunsha beside Zhao Fu and said, "This is the ruler of the Yolian Empire, right? It's no surprise that she has become yours." Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, Ericina was already used to how promiscuous Zhao Fu was and did not mind. She flirtatiously went up and pulled Zhao Fu's hand as they walked to a room. One day later, Zhao Fu brought Ericina and Feng Xunsha out of the base. Ericina had a better understanding of the chaotic world now, and Zhao Fu told her about his plans. They were going to find a large number of insect beasts to use in the future. Ericina was not of much help because she had already lured all of the insect beasts she knew into the Heaven-Awakened world. Apart from some insect beasts that could fly, those insect beasts could easily go out of control, so they were not targets. If they wanted to find more insect beasts, they would have to go deeper into the chaotic world. After searching for a long time, Zhao Fu and the others did not find many insect beast lairs, but they did find an alliance city. There were very few chaos races in the chaotic world, and they existed in an alliance city. There were all sorts of intelligence reports in the alliance city, and they should be able to find powerful insect beast lairs here. In order to prevent others from finding out that they were from the Heaven-Awakened world, Zhao Fu used the 8 forbidden blood technique to take some insect blood and fuse it into Feng Xunsha and Ericina's bodies. The aura they gave off was the aura of the chaos race, and they could control some insect beasts. After coming to a place where they could buy information, Zhao Fu easily found 7 or 8 places with large numbers of insect beasts, which was much easier than searching by himself. Out of the 7 or 8 places, Zhao Fu was most interested in one of the danger zones. After all, the insect beasts that had been sent to the Heaven-Awakened world would be fighting against Qin's enemies, and if they were more powerful, they would be able to deal more damage to Qin's enemies. Of course, the more powerful they were, the better. After all, once the insect beasts were powerful to a certain extent, they would go out of control, and if they went out of control, anyone would attack them. When that time came, Qin would be heavily injured. Following this, Zhao Fu brought the other 2 people to that danger zone. This was a yellow desert that was incredibly big, and one could not see the end of it. It was not that there were no plants here, as there were many black brambles. 8 suns gave off a piercing light in the sky, causing the weather here to be abnormally hot. Entering a place like this, even if there were no beasts, it would still be quite dangerous, and it would be easy to die from the heat. Zhao Fu walked in, and soon, he was attacked by an insect beast. This insect beast looked like a sandworm, and it was 4 meters long and as thick as an arm. It was black and had a mouth that was filled with teeth. They only had stage 2 strength, and 10 or so of them suddenly sprang up from the ground and quickly shot towards Zhao Fu and the others. With Zhao Fu's immense power, facing such weak creatures, he only needed to glance at them, and a formless and powerful energy locked the 10 or so insect beasts in the air. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile and walked towards the insect beast, wanting to get a better understanding of it. Bang! 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 The 10 or so insect beasts' bodies exploded, turning into countless grains of sand that shot out in all directions. The grains of sand that shot out were incredibly powerful and seemed to be able to pierce through rocks. Zhao Fu still did not act, and his gaze became serious as the countless grains of sand were blocked by a formless energy. Even though the grains of sand did not harm Zhao Fu at all and did not even force Zhao Fu to act, these insect beasts were still quite powerful. If one of these insect beasts exploded amongst a group of Stage 1 soldiers, many of them would die. If Stage 2 soldiers did not react quickly enough, they would also die on the spot. Just thinking about the feeling of having their bodies pierced by countless grains of sand was quite terrifying. Chapter 2606. Book 1, Chapter 51. Zhao Fu's goal here was not to obtain any treasures, but to see if there were any powerful insect beasts. Zhao Fu was quite satisfied with this type of insect beast. In such a large forbidden area, there would most likely be many of these insect beasts. If a large number of these insect beasts exploded, even the Stage 3 soldiers would have to retreat, or else their bodies would be pierced through. Zhao Fu confirmed that this place could be used by Qin, so he recorded the address first. Zhao Fu was curious about the bug beasts. The bug beasts' bodies didn't just explode. Their bodies turned into sand at the beginning. Then, they gathered all their energy in one spot before exploding. That was how they had such power. An ordinary bug beast's explosion wouldn't have such power. To Zhao Fu, it was actually very simple to understand the reason for this in the primal chaos world. All he needed to do was obtain this ability. Obtaining this ability was also very simple. All he needed to do was to use the 8 forbidden blood art. Very quickly, Zhao Fu caught a bug beast and restrained it. At the same time, he restrained the power within its body to prevent it from self-destructing. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and a blood-red rune appeared on Zhao Fu's palm. It gave off a faint light and an evil and twisted aura that could cause people's hairs to stand on end. Zhao Fu pressed his hand forward and the blood-red rune fused into the insect's head. Zhao Fu pulled out a yellow liquid, and the insect started to dry up. When the yellow liquid fused into Zhao Fu's palm, Zhao Fu immediately gained the power of the sandstorm. At the same time, he understood its principles. Now, as long as Zhao Fu wanted to, he could immediately turn his body into sand and then explode. Of course, Zhao Fu did not want to kill himself. This kind of self-destruction ability was quite good. If possible, Qin should occupy this ominous land and make it produce this kind of insect beast continuously. However, this place was too far away from Qin, so it was unlikely that they could occupy this place. Even if they forcibly occupied this place, they would be destroyed by other forces. He could first set up many teleportation formations here, and when needed, he could activate these teleportation formations and attract countless insect beasts into the teleportation formations. Now they were very far away from Qin City, so they could only use the teleportation circle. If they relied on their own speed, it would take 3 or 4 days to reach Qin City. If they rushed to Qin City at this speed, Qin City might have been long dead. If many teleportation arrays were set up here, although they could be hidden, if there were too many of them, it would be easy for others to notice, and the teleportation arrays would be destroyed. Zhao Fu thought to himself that he needed an ability to set up invisibility spirit formations, or perhaps he could form some teleportation formation teams and have them check on these spirit formations at all times to prevent them from being destroyed. If they were destroyed, they could also repair them. Now that Zhao Fu had a plan to deal with the insect beasts, he gave a trace of a smile and prepared to release the yellow liquid. However, at that moment, something unexpected happened. His body had absorbed the yellow liquid, leaving nothing behind. What was going on? Zhao Fu felt quite startled and felt quite confused. He had not wanted to absorb the yellow liquid, as it was formed from the insect beast's blood and essence. It could be used as a material to create all sorts of things, and other creatures could absorb it to increase their power. However, Zhao Fu did not need it, as the yellow liquid was too low-grade. Zhao Fu had an origin bloodline, and fusing with such a low-grade thing would not only bring him no benefits, but it would also affect his body. Zhao Fu started to examine his body, and found what was absorbing the yellow liquid. Zhao Fu had fused the insect beast blood into Feng Xinsha and Zhao Fu's bodies, causing them to give off pure chaos aura. They could also control some insect beasts. However, Zhao Fu did not need it, as Zhao Fu had the Chaos World bloodline, which was the number 1 evil celestial's bloodline. The thing absorbing the yellow liquid was the number 1 evil celestial's bloodline. A long time ago, Zhao Fu had obtained a terrifying inheritance in the Chaos World, which shocked the entire Chaos World. This inheritance was the inheritance of the number 1 evil celestial. Although Zhao Fu was not very clear, he could guess how terrifying the number 1 evil celestial was, who had caused a catastrophe in the Chaos World. Otherwise, he would not have been called the number 1 evil celestial. Originally, the number 1 evil celestial was just a very ordinary person, without a strong background, excellent aptitude, and great opportunities. He relied on the 8 forbidden blood technique that he created to become the most powerful person in the world, step by step. The number 1 evil celestial's experience was really admirable and inspiring. Countless ordinary people, no matter how hard they worked, were just ordinary people, and could never become powerful because of the aptitude. In fact, Zhao Fu was not as good as the number 1 evil celestial, because Zhao Fu had the Qin royal bloodline from the beginning, which meant that Zhao Fu would not be the same as ordinary people. However, Zhao Fu made a small person with the royal bloodline grow into a person with the original bloodline, which was also shocking and admirable. The number 1 evil celestial's bloodline was also an ultimate bloodline in the Chaos World, and it also inherited the number 1 forbidden blood technique in the Chaos World, the 8 forbidden blood technique. If ordinary people of the Chaos World relied on the evil celestial's bloodline and the 8 forbidden blood technique, they would have already become peerless powerful people known to the world. There was no doubt about this. The number 1 evil celestial's bloodline and the 8 forbidden blood technique definitely had this ability. It was a pity that the ultimate bloodline and the number 1 forbidden blood technique were not very useful in the hands of Zhao Fu, and he could only use them occasionally. If people in the Chaos World knew about this, they would definitely scold him for being stupid and not using such heaven-defying things. It was a reckless waste of God's gift. If people in the Chaos World knew that Zhao Fu had the number 1 evil celestial's legacy, countless experts would fight over it, as they all knew how terrifying the 8 forbidden blood technique was. Back when they had heard that the number 1 forbidden blood technique had appeared, they had sent countless people to investigate, but there had been no news. No one would have thought that the number 1 evil celestial's legacy would choose someone from the heaven-awakened world as its legatee. The number 1 evil celestial's legacy had its own consciousness and would choose its master. Even though Zhao Fu did not place much importance on it and only occasionally used it, sometimes he did not even remember it existed. However, it did not regret choosing Zhao Fu because even though Zhao Fu had not used it, he had not disappointed it. Not only had he awakened 8 Supreme Emperor stars, but he had also obtained an original bloodline. Back then, the number 1 evil celestial's bloodline had only been at the peak of the divine bloodline, and it had only been a trace away from becoming an original bloodline. What the number 1 evil celestial had not been able to do, Zhao Fu had done. Even though Zhao Fu had ignored it and forgotten about it, it believed that Zhao Fu would one day return to the Chaos World and use its power to become an existence even more terrifying than the number 1 evil celestial, causing the entire Chaos World to feel terror. Chapter 2607. Book 1, Chapter 52. Zhao Fu sensed the first evil immortal bloodline within his body and found that some changes had occurred, causing Zhao Fu to possess this insect beast bloodline. To Zhao Fu's surprise, the power of this bloodline could allow Zhao Fu to become an insect beast. There was nothing misleading about this. It could turn Zhao Fu into a bug beast that was exactly the same as before. Zhao Fu was surprised and curious about this ability. Therefore, Zhao Fu decided to give it a try. Zhao Fu's body emitted a faint blood-red light, and his skin turned black. His body continued to grow, and his hands, feet, and head disappeared. After his feet disappeared, they continued to grow. The insect's tail first grew out, and then a large insect head with suction cups grew out as well. Finally, there was a 6 or 7 meter long insect beast that was as thick as a water bucket. It was completely black and had a large mouth with many sharp teeth. It was wearing human clothes and gave off a terrifying aura as it appeared before Feng Xunsha and Feng Xunsha. Feng Xunsha and Aracena were also shocked as they watched Zhao Fu turn into a bug in front of them. After turning into an insect, Zhao Fu felt quite strange, and it was quite different from being a human. However, it was quite interesting and he smiled. Aracena said in a disgusted tone, "Zhao Fu, hurry up and change back. You look disgusting like this. If you keep this up, I won't let you touch me." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Wait, let me try out how it feels to be an insect beast." Aracena snorted and did not speak. Zhao Fu first crawled on the ground like the other bugs. This was simple, but Zhao Fu's movements were still a bit clumsy, because it was his first time as a bug. Then, Zhao Fu used the insect beast's ability and his body emitted a yellow light. His head drilled into the sand, and his body easily disappeared into the sand. Swimming in the sand was almost the same as swimming in water. After drilling into the sand, Zhao Fu encountered many similar bugs. When they saw Zhao Fu, they did not attack Zhao Fu and instead treated Zhao Fu as one of them. However, the aura that Zhao Fu gave off was quite powerful, and the surrounding bugs did not dare to get close to Zhao Fu. These bugs did not have very high intelligence, but they could communicate. After turning into an insect beast, Zhao Fu automatically grasped this type of communication and lightly roared, causing the surrounding bugs to gather in fear. Just then, Zhao Fu roared for them to come over, and because the bugs were all afraid of Zhao Fu, they obeyed. Zhao Fu once again roared for the bugs to leave, and they immediately ran away. Sensing the escaping bugs, Zhao Fu felt that it was quite funny. He drilled out from the sand and his body quickly shrunk until he returned to his original appearance. Because his clothes could not change with him, Zhao Fu was not wearing any clothes. Aracena rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu and said, "You've had enough, right?" Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Feng Xunsha looked at Zhao Fu curiously and asked, "How do you have this kind of ability?" Zhao Fu smiled as he explained, "In the past, I obtained a legacy in the outer world called the number 1 evil celestial legacy. It has the ability to refine countless bloodlines, but I don't usually stay in the outer world and rarely use this power." Just from the name, Feng Xunsha could tell that this legacy was incredibly powerful, and she could not help but feel admiration for Zhao Fu. Not only could he obtain powerful legacies and powers in the Heaven Awakened world, but he could also obtain powerful legacies and powers in other worlds. The Aeolian Empire also had a base in the outer world, but it was not as developed as Qin City. Moreover, the locations of the two bases were different, and it was impossible to connect them together. Now, everyone in the Wind God base had been evacuated because the Aeolian Empire had been destroyed. After Zhao Fu returned to his original appearance, he felt that the 8 forbidden blood art had gone through some changes. He had obtained the ability to summon a sandworm, but the prerequisite was that there was a sandworm nearby. Moreover, he could use his power to create a sandworm. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and used the 8 forbidden blood art. A black aura flowed out and condensed, forming a sandworm that looked like the sandworm from before. Apart from being lifeless, it had all of the abilities of a sandworm, such as burrowing into the sand, using sandblasts, and hiding in the sand to attack. Zhao Fu could also fuse his consciousness into the sandworm, turning it into a clone. After fusing with a sandworm's bloodline, the bloodline and forbidden blood art had all changed, and its power had slightly increased. At the same time, Zhao Fu felt that the first evil celestial bloodline within his body had become incredibly hungry and excited, wanting to devour even more bloodlines. Right now, the first evil celestial bloodline was in its initial state, and it was almost the same as an ordinary person's bloodline. This was because the first evil celestial bloodline needed to refine other races' bloodlines in order to become stronger, and the more it refined, the more powerful it would become. Back then, the first evil celestial bloodline had been an ordinary person, and he had relied on the 8 forbidden blood art to raise his ordinary bloodline to a peak stage divine bloodline. When one's source bloodline could not be found, a peak stage divine bloodline could be said to be the most powerful bloodline in the world. Even a holy empire would find it difficult to obtain a peak stage divine bloodline, which showed just how difficult it was to raise it. It was a pity that the first evil celestial bloodline had only raised it to the peak stage divine bloodline and had not reached an origin bloodline. After all, an origin bloodline was not that easy to raise. Zhao Fu had fused with the 7 Emperor stars to obtain source energy, which was why he had obtained an origin bloodline. The 8 forbidden blood art could raise ordinary bloodlines to an origin bloodline, and back then, the first evil celestial bloodline had only been a sliver away. If he had more time and devoured a few more divine bloodlines, he would definitely be able to reach an origin bloodline. Because Zhao Fu's bloodline was too high grade, he did not want to fuse with lower grade races' bloodlines. As such, he did not fuse with other races' bloodlines, and gradually, the first evil celestial bloodline was ignored by Zhao Fu. If it was not for the fact that the first evil celestial bloodline had taken the initiative to absorb it, Zhao Fu might have completely ignored it. Zhao Fu started to wonder if he should raise the first evil celestial bloodline. Aracina asked, "What are you thinking about?" Zhao Fu told her about this. Aracina said, "That's up to you. You have too many powers, and all of them are quite high grade. It doesn't matter if you have one more or one less. Moreover, you're mainly developing in the card world and alchemy world. You don't have time to stay in the outer world." After thinking about it, Zhao Fu felt that this was true. If he fused with other bloodlines, it might affect his source bloodline. Even though the first evil celestial bloodline was very powerful, he did not lack powerful powers. The first evil celestial bloodline was quite pitiful. It had always trusted Zhao Fu, but Zhao Fu did not plan to develop it. Chapter 2608 Book 1 Zhao Fu. Feng Xinsha suddenly said, "Zhao Fu, haven't you been fusing with the powers of the various races to awaken 7 races' Emperor stars? The outer world should also have Emperor stars. Do you want to try and awaken a Supreme Emperor star for the outer world? If you have an outer world Emperor star, you will have many benefits and conveniences in the outer world. Even though you won't be mainly developing in the outer world, it is still one of the 3 worlds that Qin has developed." After hearing this, Zhao Fu thought about it. With his current strength, it was possible for him to awaken a Supreme Emperor star for the outer world. After all, Zhao Fu already had the number 1 evil celestial bloodline and fate, and he had broken through the restrictions of that world's laws. If it was anyone else, it would be impossible. Zhao Fu was quite interested in awakening a Supreme Emperor star for the outer world. After all, Supreme Emperor stars not only represented supreme potential but also boundless fate and supreme power. The more Supreme Emperor stars one had, the more powerful one would be. His goal had been to awaken 8 Supreme Emperor stars in the Heaven Awaken world, and adding on his Fate Emperor star, he would have 9 Supreme Emperor stars in total. Now that he thought about it, he could also awaken the Supreme Emperor stars of the outer world, the Supreme Emperor stars of the card world, and the Supreme Emperor stars of the alchemy world. Adding on the 3 Emperor stars, he now had a total of 12. 12 Supreme Emperor stars giving off a heaven-suppressing aura as they floated in the air and countless creatures knelt before them. Just thinking about it made Zhao Fu feel quite excited. In the end, Zhao Fu changed his mind and decided to upgrade the number 1 evil celestial bloodline. This was not only for himself but also for the outer world's Supreme Emperor star. In the future, it would be easier for him to conquer outer worlds and make it easier for the outer world people to submit to him. Zhao Fu said, "Wait for me here, there's a sandworm king in this danger zone. I need to subdue it and turn this danger zone into Qin's territory. I also need to refine its bloodline." Even though Zhao Fu had fused with a sandworm bloodline, there were differences between bloodlines of the same race. The Sandworm King's bloodline in the danger zone would definitely be of a much higher grade than ordinary sandworms' bloodlines. With Zhao Fu's personality, he naturally wanted to fuse a higher grade bloodline. Aracena nodded. "Then hurry up." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded before turning into a ray of light and flying towards the depths of the danger zone. The sandworms here were all at stage 2, and the Sandworm King's strength was at the world realm. Zhao Fu was an Emperor Heaven Realm expert, so it was naturally quite easy for him to deal with a world realm sandworm. Of course, the premise was that it wouldn't summon countless sandworms to attack Zhao Fu at the same time. That would be a very troublesome thing. After coming to the depths of the forbidden area, Zhao Fu immediately saw a 1,000-meter-long bloated sandworm sleeping within a large crater. It gave off a powerful aura, but it had not reached the world realm yet. Zhao Fu looked at Zhao Fu and saw that Zhao Fu was in a daze. Boom! Zhao Fu took a step forward, and a terrifying pressure spread out, enveloping a radius of 1,000 miles. The massive might caused the Sandworm King to wake up, and the countless sandworms below the ground sensed Zhao Fu's aura and crawled out. They covered the ground, and it was impossible to tell how many there were. Insect beasts were not terrifying because of their power but because of their numbers. The Sandworm King raised its head to the sky and gave off a massive hiss, and countless sandworms flooded towards Zhao Fu like a black tide, giving off a destructive aura. However, in the next second, another hiss sounded out, and the countless sandworms retreated. This was because this hiss had come from Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu's body had become a sandworm. Normally, creatures of the same species would not attack creatures of the same species, and would instead attack creatures of different species. Now that Zhao Fu was a sandworm, he was the same as them. What was more, the aura that Zhao Fu gave off was even more powerful than the Sandworm King's, so the sandworms did not dare to attack Zhao Fu. The Sandworm King's intelligence was quite high, and looking at the retreating sandworms, it furiously roared, wanting to force the countless sandworms to attack Zhao Fu. Otherwise, it would not be able to defeat the person in front of it. In actuality, it felt quite strange. How could a person suddenly become like it? Hearing the Sandworm King's furious roar, the sandworms hesitated in fear and slowly crawled towards Zhao Fu. They did not have the destructive aura that they had before. Roar! Zhao Fu gave an even louder hiss, and a corporeal sound wave spread out, scaring the sandworms into turning and running. They retreated 1,000 meters away, not daring to come close. Boom! At that moment, the Sandworm King suddenly attacked. Its body leapt, causing the ground to crack, and it bit towards Zhao Fu with terrifying power. Zhao Fu did not move at all as he flew in the air. He opened his mouth and countless terrifying powers gathered. Even though Zhao Fu had become a sandworm and could use the Sandworm King's abilities, he could still use his own powers. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a black beam of light shot out from Zhao Fu's mouth, sending the Sandworm King flying. The Sandworm King's massive body flew through the air for thousands of meters before crashing to the ground, smashing open a massive crater. Within the crater, the Sandworm King's body was covered with yellow liquid, and it looked quite weak. In actuality, Zhao Fu had held back, as it still had a use for it. Otherwise, Zhao Fu could have killed it with a single attack. Seeing that the Sandworm King had been heavily injured by Zhao Fu, the countless sandworms lowered their heads in fear and were willing to submit to Zhao Fu. This was how things worked. The weak were prey to the strong, and since Zhao Fu had defeated the Sandworm King, he had become the new Sandworm King. Zhao Fu flew over to the Sandworm King and said, "Submit to me and I won't kill you." Facing Zhao Fu's terrifying power, the Sandworm King did not think much and said in a boy's voice, "I'm willing to submit to you." A trace of a smile appeared on Zhao Fu's face, and his body returned to its original state. The sandworms no longer dared to attack, and Zhao Fu's sandworm aura was still there. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and a wave of energy spread out as a blood-red rune entered the Sandworm King's head. A golden liquid flowed out, and the Sandworm King looked a bit weaker, but its life was not in danger. The golden liquid that was extracted was the Sandworm King's bloodline and essence, which then fused into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu only needed a portion of the creature's bloodline and essence to refine the creature's bloodline, so he didn't have to kill it to get all of it. Zhao Fu had extracted some of the Sandworm King's bloodline, and at the same time, a bloodline restriction had been formed. It was a restriction of the 8 forbidden blood art. Zhao Fu could use it to control the Sandworm King, and he didn't need to set up any other restrictions. After easily subduing the belly Sandworm King, Zhao Fu tossed him a bottle of medicinal pills and told him to recover from his injuries before leaving. Chapter 2609. Book 1. Zhao Fu was in control of this forbidden area. Now that he had controlled the Sandworm King, he had more or less control over this forbidden area. In the future, he would send people to build a large number of teleportation channels and have the Sandworm King personally guard them. That way, it would be very difficult for the teleportation channels to be destroyed, and if he needed them, he could have the Sandworm King order countless sandworms to enter the teleportation channels. This would solve many problems, and Zhao Fu planned to do the same in the future. He would first control the Den Lords and also refine their bloodlines. After returning to where he was, Zhao Fu said, "Do you two want to go back first? I'm going to head to the various insect dens." Ericina said bitterly, "I don't want to go back. It wasn't easy for you to stay in the outer world for such a long time. Who knows when you'll be able to come back again?" Zhao Fu gave an apologetic smile. "I have a lot of things to do, so I'll try to come and see you two in the future." Ericina lightly nodded and went up to hug Zhao Fu. Feng Xinsha did not have any objections and looked at Zhao Fu and Ericina. She did not have a deep relationship with Zhao Fu and only acknowledged Zhao Fu for now. Following this, Zhao Fu went to an insect den. This was not the insect den from before but an ordinary insect den, and there was a type of double-tailed scorpion living there. This double-tailed scorpion was green and was 3 or 4 meters long. It looked like a normal scorpion but had 2 tails. It was slightly weaker than the sandworms from before, but it was still a stage 2 insect beast. Just like before, Zhao Fu grabbed an ordinary double-tailed scorpion and fused its bloodline into the first evil celestial bloodline before turning into a double-tailed scorpion and crawling towards the depths of the Denver. Even though he encountered countless double-tailed scorpions on the way, none of them dared to stop him, and they all fearfully made way for him, allowing Zhao Fu to easily reach the depths of the Denver. On a rock deep within the insect den, there was a 1,000-meter-long scorpion. Apart from how big it was, it had 3 tails and gave off a great Earth Realm aura. This was the double-tailed Scorpion King. Zhao Fu swaggered in, and the twin-tailed Scorpion King immediately sensed Zhao Fu and felt that its position was being challenged. It turned its huge body, raised its pincers, and smashed them towards Zhao Fu. The double-tailed Scorpion King's 1,000-meter body was compared to Zhao Fu's 5-meter body. There was still a huge gap between them. The pincers smashed down like a small mountain. Some of the double-tailed scorpions thought to themselves, "This damned fellow actually dares to challenge the king's authority. Just wait to be smashed into minced meat." Boom! A massive sound rang out, and the many double-tailed scorpions looked dumbfounded. They saw that the hill-like pincers were easily caught by Zhao Fu's small pincers, and Zhao Fu was not harmed at all. The twin-tailed Scorpion King also looked dumbfounded, and after coming to its senses, it wanted to raise its pincers. However, it found that it could not, and its expression became grim. Swish! Swish! Two sounds rang out as Zhao Fu's two scorpion tails gave off a sharp aura as they shot towards the twin-tailed Scorpion King. The twin-tailed Scorpion King panicked and tried to dodge, but its pincers were caught by Zhao Fu, and it could not dodge at all. The two scorpion tails easily pierced through the twin-tailed Scorpion King's body, and the intense pain caused the twin-tailed Scorpion King to howl in pain. Its body vigorously struggled, wanting to break free from Zhao Fu's bindings, but it could not break free no matter how much it struggled. The surrounding twin-tailed scorpions scattered in all directions, not daring to stay. Zhao Fu said, "Submit to me." The pained twin-tailed Scorpion King did not hesitate, and it directly chose to submit to Zhao Fu. Its voice was like that of an old woman, and it was somewhat hoarse. Zhao Fu let go of the twin-tailed Scorpion King, and he retracted his two tails, and his body returned to human form. The twin-tailed Scorpion King was shocked. It had never thought that a twin-tailed scorpion that looked exactly like it would turn into a human. Zhao Fu did not care about the twin-tailed Scorpion King's expression, and he stretched out a hand and extracted her bloodline and essence, fusing it with the first evil immortal bloodline within his body. He then threw a bottle of medicinal pills to her and left. Following this, Zhao Fu went to a few more insect lairs, extracted the insect beast king's bloodline, and fused it with the first evil immortal bloodline. At the same time, he controlled the insect beast kings there. Now, the insect beasts that ran on the ground had already been fused with Zhao Fu's bloodline. The first evil immortal bloodline needed to smelt countless bloodlines, and of course, it could not only fuse with the insect beasts that ran on the ground, but it also had to fuse with the insect beasts that flew in the sky, even though the insect beasts that flew in the sky were not very useful to Qin. Apart from these insect-shaped insect beasts, Zhao Fu also had to fuse with other beast-shaped insect beasts, bird-shaped insect beasts, and water-shaped insect beasts. A few hours later, Zhao Fu came to a bird-shaped insect lair. The insect beasts that lived here looked like pigeons, but their feathers were blue, and their eyes were white. Each of them was about the size of a sheep, and they looked very pretty. They were called blue feather pigeons. Their lair was on a cliff, and just like before, Zhao Fu grabbed an ordinary blue feather pigeon and extracted its bloodline before fusing it with his body, turning it into a blue feather pigeon and flying towards the depths of the insect lair. The blue feather pigeon's body was 1,000 meters long, and its nest was at the top of the cliff, and it was now lying elegantly in its nest. Seeing Zhao Fu fly towards it, the blue feather pigeon king said in a youthful voice, "Little fellow, what do you want?" Zhao Fu said, "I want you to submit to me." The blue feather pigeon king looked quite surprised. It had never thought that Zhao Fu could speak, and it was also surprised that Zhao Fu wanted it to submit to him. The blue feather pigeon king lightly laughed as it said, "Little fellow, I'm not angry yet, so hurry up and leave, or else you'll be injured." However, Zhao Fu did not hold back and vigorously flapped his wings, gathering terrifying power. Countless traces of blue water vapor quickly gathered, forming blue water arrows that gave off a massive aura. Swish, 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 Zhao Fu vigorously flapped his wings, and the sound of the air being torn could be heard as water arrows containing immense power shot towards the blue feather pigeon king. The water arrows were incredibly dense, and the blue feather pigeon king was quite careless. It hurriedly gave off a blue light, forming a massive blue defensive barrier that covered its body. However, the blue defensive barrier was unable to stop them at all, and the water arrows shattered the blue defensive barrier. The water arrows pierced into the blue feather pigeon king's body, opening up bloody holes and causing blue liquid to flow out. The blue feather pigeon king was heavily injured before it could even retaliate, and it weakly asked, "Who are you?" Even though Zhao Fu was the same as the blue feather pigeon, he did not believe that a blue feather pigeon would suddenly have such power. It was most likely someone controlling a blue feather pigeon or using some other method. Zhao Fu directly turned into his human form, causing the blue feather pigeon king to look quite shocked. It had never thought that the blue feather pigeon in front of it would be a person. Chapter 26:10. Scroll 1. Divine Beast King Zhao Fu did not reply and said calmly, "I'll ask you one more time, are you willing to submit to me? If you're not willing, I'll immediately kill you and choose a new blue feather pigeon king." The blue feather pigeon king did not know who Zhao Fu was, but with its strength, it was not a match for Zhao Fu. It was not stupid enough to seek death, so it said, "Don't kill me, I'm willing to surrender." A trace of a smile appeared on Zhao Fu's face as he stretched out a hand, and a blood-red rune once again appeared. Zhao Fu extracted the blue feather pigeon king's bloodline and fused it into his body before tossing a bottle of medicine to it and heading to the next insect Denver. A few days later, Zhao Fu felt quite tired and returned to the Alliance City. Everyone in the Alliance City felt quite strange and felt that the insect beasts nearby had changed. They were no longer as ferocious and would kill anyone they saw, and they were instead more orderly. What was going on? Everyone could not understand and did not know if it was because of Zhao Fu, but they passionately discussed it. Zhao Fu was within a room, and Aracena and Feng Xinshao were within Zhao Fu's embrace. Over the past few days, Zhao Fu had been to various insect dens, regardless of whether they were big or small. He had extracted the Insect Beast King's bloodline and taken control of the Insect Beast King. He had been busy doing these things, so Zhao Fu felt quite tired and wanted to rest. Because these insect beasts were something that Zhao Fu had prepared in case Qin encountered any danger in the future, to avoid unnecessary injuries, he had set up some simple rules. Over the past few days, Zhao Fu had fused with 100 or so insect beast bloodlines, and all of them were Insect Beast King's bloodlines. To Zhao Fu's surprise, the power of the first evil immortal bloodline and the 8 forbidden blood technique were increasing rapidly. Not only that, but Zhao Fu had also obtained the ability of the King of Insects. This sort of ability would allow Zhao Fu to feel a bloodline suppression no matter what insect beast he met in the future. As long as their bloodline grade was lower than Zhao Fu's, they would feel a trace of fear towards Zhao Fu. Even though Zhao Fu did not have any power and stood in a group of insect beasts, none of them dared to attack him. This ability was mainly because Zhao Fu had integrated over 100 types of insect beast king bloodlines. If he had integrated ordinary insect beast bloodlines, there might not have been such an effect. Apart from the abilities of the King of Insects, Zhao Fu had also gathered the luck of countless insects. That fate was no ordinary fate either, it was the fate of an insect beast king. However, it was much more powerful than ordinary fate. Zhao Fu already had a plan that would allow Zhao Fu to awaken a Supreme Emperor Star in the outer world. The Supreme Emperor Star that he would awaken would not be an ordinary Emperor Star. The outer world was not any smaller than the Heaven Awakened world, and there were countless races within it. There were at least 10 million of them. Right now, Zhao Fu had only fused with 100 or so insect beast bloodlines, and the first evil immortal bloodline and 8 forbidden blood techniques' power had increased by 10 or so times. He had also obtained the King of Insects' abilities and fate. If Zhao Fu fused with thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of insect-beast bloodlines, just how powerful would the first evil immortal bloodline and 8 forbidden blood technique be? How terrifying would the King of Insects' abilities be? And how much fate would it have? It would be a shocking number. This allowed Zhao Fu to fulfill the requirements for awakening an Emperor's Star in the outer world. He had a massive amount of chaos fate and a terrifying chaos bloodline. After fusing with so many insect-beast bloodlines, would awakening an Emperor's Star be simple? The answer was that it would definitely not be simple, and it would be even more terrifying than an ordinary Supreme Emperor's Star. Apart from the insect-beast bloodlines, Zhao Fu could also fuse with the Chaos Race's bloodline. As long as it was a outer world bloodline, no matter how high or low it was, Zhao Fu could fuse with it. There were 8 types of Chaos Race bloodlines in total, and Zhao Fu only needed the Chaos Royal bloodline. He wondered if fusing with countless Chaos Royal bloodlines would give him the same abilities and fate as the King of Insects. No matter what, Zhao Fu would fuse with the Chaos Royal bloodline because only then would his bloodline be perfect. After all, the first evil immortal was from the Chaos Race and not an insect beast. However, it would be very difficult for Zhao Fu to collect countless Chaos Royal bloodlines by himself, and it would take a very long time. It was evident that Zhao Fu did not have that much time in the outer world, so Zhao Fu had to use other methods to obtain many Chaos Royal bloodlines. The best way was to have money to buy them. The Insect Beast King's blood was a high-grade material and had all sorts of effects. The other Chaos Race would most likely collect them, and Zhao Fu only needed to buy them from them. Using the Insect Beast King's blood to obtain a bloodline was not as good as using Zhao Fu's own blood. If Zhao Fu did that, he would be able to guarantee the purity of the bloodline, making it less pure, and the bloodline's power would be weaker. Back then, the first evil immortal had chosen to personally extract the bloodline to guarantee the purity of the bloodline, but it had taken him hundreds of years. Zhao Fu could not afford to spend hundreds of years on this, so he could only use blood to obtain a bloodline. Most of the Insect Beast King's blood that he bought were low-grade Insect Beast King's blood. He would not be able to buy high-grade Insect Beast King's blood with money. However, he did not care about high-grade Insect Beast King's blood for now. He would collect low-grade Insect Beast King's blood first. This was Zhao Fu's plan. Zhao Fu told Ericina and Feng Xinsha about his plan. Ericina said worriedly, "Zhao Fu, awakening a race's Supreme Emperor's Star is an incredibly important matter to the entire world. Even though you've obtained the Chaos Race's fate and bloodline, you're still someone from the Heaven Awakened world. I'm worried that something might happen to you." Hearing Ericina's words, Zhao Fu felt that she was right. There were indeed hidden dangers. No matter how much Chaos World fate and bloodline he obtained, Zhao Fu was still someone from the Heaven Awakened world, and awakening a Supreme Emperor's Star was not a small matter. Feng Xinsha looked at Zhao Fu. No matter what Zhao Fu decided, she would not object. Zhao Fu thought about it and thought about the benefits of awakening a Chaos Emperor's Star, so he decided to take the risk. Following this, Zhao Fu brought the two of them out of the room and went to a shop in the Alliance City, where he asked a few shop assistants. The shop had Insect Beast King's blood, but there were not many of them. Most of them were ordinary Insect Beast King's blood, and they did not have any Chaos Royal bloodline. Even though Chaos Royal bloodlines were high-grade materials, they were much rarer than Insect Beast King's blood, and it was impossible for ordinary shops to have them. Zhao Fu asked the shop assistant to take out a few types of Insect Beast King's blood, and he found that he already had them. It seemed that he would have to go to a higher-grade Alliance City. Zhao Fu threw a bag of coins to the shop assistant as a reward for answering his questions. Following this, Zhao Fu brought Ericina and Feng Xinsha out of the Alliance City and quickly headed to a higher-grade Alliance City. Chapter 2611. Book 1, Chapter 56 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mikeir. In the past, the outer Chaos world was dominated by the Alliance. The Alliance was the largest faction in the outer Chaos world, and all sorts of factions would join the Alliance. Each region would have a Level 1 Alliance Center, and the Alliance Center was basically a city, so it was called a Level 1 Alliance City. 10 regions would have a Level 2 Alliance City, and 100 regions would have a Level 3 Alliance City. There were thousands of regions in a world, and there would be a few Level 4 Alliance cities and one Level 5 Alliance City. However, this was not enough to satisfy Zhao Fu's needs. Zhao Fu needed a massive amount of Insect Beast King bloodlines, so he needed to go to a Level 7 Alliance City. However, there was only one Level 7 Alliance City in 100 world. Even though he used teleportation channels, it took Zhao Fu 2 days to reach a Level 7 Alliance City. This was the central region of the outer Chaos world, and the insect beasts and primal chaos people were much more powerful. At the same time, Level 7 Alliance City was much more bustling, and the streets were bustling with people. There were countless shops, and it was incredibly noisy. Zhao Fu brought Ericina and Feng Xinsha to a tall building. Zhao Fu planned to buy from the largest merchant association there. That would make things much easier, and he would not have to go through so much trouble. After walking into the shop, Zhao Fu found that the shop was 1,000 square meters wide, and there were many long counters filled with all sorts of items. Many people were buying and inspecting these items, and their clothes were not ordinary. This was the best shop in a Level 7 Alliance City, so the people who came here to buy things were naturally not ordinary. A delicate-looking young man smiled as he came over and asked, "Sir, is there anything you would like?" Zhao Fu nodded. "How much Insect Beast King bloodline does your shop have?" The delicate-looking young man smiled as he said, "There's a lot, but I'm not sure. What kind of Insect Beast King bloodline do you need?" "Not only do we have ordinary Insect Beast King bloodline, but we also have the even more precious King-class Insect Beast King bloodline." Although that was the case for ordinary Bug Beast Kings, these Bug Beast Kings were considered overlords at most. They were not true King-class bugs. A true King-class Bug Beast was like a human monarch. Their bloodline was a monarch's bloodline, which was stronger than ordinary Bug Beasts' bloodlines. Apart from King-class insect beasts, there were also Emperor-class insect beasts, Emperor-class insect beasts, and Saint-class insect beasts. As for essence insectoid bloodlines, they only existed in ancient legends of the Chaos world. When Zhao Fu heard that not only was there a lot of insect beast king blood, but there was even king-class insect beast blood, he was pleasantly surprised. "I want them all." The young man's expression froze for a moment before he was pleasantly surprised and said even more politely, "Esteemed guest, please wait for a moment in the private room." Zhao Fu nodded and followed the youth into a room. After a while, a tall, thin, red-haired old man walked in with a smile. Beside him was a young man carrying a wooden tray with 2 items on it. One was a storage bracelet, and the other was a glass bottle. The old man said, "Esteemed guest, I am the manager of this shop. This is the Insect Beast King blood that you need. There are a total of 456 types, and each type has a different value due to their different powers. In total, you will need 53 million Alliance gold coins. This bottle is Winchim B Ox King blood. The price is 3.5 million Alliance gold coins. Alliance gold coins were gold coins produced by the Alliance. Most factions only recognize this currency, and they used this currency to buy all sorts of things." Zhao Fu's expression became quite awkward. He had obtained most of the Alliance gold coins from destroying Chaos Cities, but he had not destroyed many Chaos Cities, so he only had around 2 million Alliance gold coins. The most awkward thing was that he did not have many valuable things from the Chaos world. He had many valuable things from the Heaven Awaken world, but because of the laws, the Chaos race could not use them. The old man asked curiously, "Esteemed guest, what's wrong? Are you not satisfied with the price? I've already taken some off for you." As the manager of the Chaos World base, Ericina understood what was going on and lightly smiled as she said to Zhao Fu, "You don't have that much money, yet you're still boasting like that. Are you used to spending money?" Right now, Zhao Fu indeed did not have much of a concept of money. When his faction had been weak, Zhao Fu had valued money quite a bit. However, as Qin had continuously become stronger and obtained countless riches, Zhao Fu no longer valued money, and some valuable things could not be bought with money. Zhao Fu said awkwardly, "I don't have that much Alliance gold coins, but I have a few treasures from the Heaven Awaken world. Would you like them?" The Chaos world and Heaven Awaken world had been fighting for a long time, so it was not strange for the Chaos world to have Heaven Awaken world treasures. The old man's expression did not change, but he refused, saying, "Apologies, guest, our shop does not accept Heaven Awaken world treasures. Because of the rules, almost all Heaven Awaken world treasures could not be used by people from the Chaos world. Of course, this shop would not accept them, as no matter how precious they were useless to them. This made things quite difficult for Zhao Fu. Where can I obtain so much Alliance gold coins?" The old man could tell that Zhao Fu was feeling quite awkward, and from Zhao Fu's tone of voice, he could tell that Zhao Fu was not an ordinary person. The old man said, "Guest, perhaps you can complete some Alliance quests to obtain Alliance gold coins. Some advanced Alliance quests give millions of Alliance gold coins." Hearing this, Zhao Fu smiled and said, Thank you. Please leave some for me." The old man smiled as he said, "No problem." Following this, Zhao Fu left the shop and went to the place where the Alliance gave out quests. Anyone could accept quests here, and there were no restrictions. This allowed Zhao Fu to let out a sigh of relief, and he looked at the advanced quest Stone Wall. Found God Skyflame. Reward: 1 million Alliance gold coins. Killed Green Third Master. Reward: 3 million Alliance gold coins. Killed an ordinary king in the Heaven Awaken world. Reward: 2 million Alliance gold coins. Caught a peerless beauty in the Heaven Awaken world. Reward: 5 million Alliance gold coins. Obtained Dragon Eye Insect Egg. Reward: 5 million Alliance gold coins. Zhao Fu looked at these quests and found that most of them were given out by others and not by the Alliance. There were quests for capturing a peerless beauty in the Heaven Awaken world, and the rewards were quite good. The advanced quests all gave at least 1 million Alliance gold coins. Zhao Fu was not interested in these quests, as buying the Insect Beast King's blood would cost roughly 60 million Alliance gold coins. There were many quests that were worth millions or even tens of millions of Alliance gold coins. Zhao Fu continuously looked through the quests, and he found that there was a quest that was quite suitable for him. This quest was to obtain the essence blood of a flying waterbug queen, which gave 5 million Alliance gold coins per vial. The flying waterbug queen was a king-class insect beast, and its strength was not ordinary. Otherwise, it would not have been able to obtain 5 million Alliance gold coins per vial. The flying waterbug queen's location also had some. Chapter 2612. Book 1, Chapter 57. Translated by Hypersheep 325. Edited by Meiker. Zhao Fu directly accepted this quest and brought Ericina and Feng Xinsha to that place. It was a massive lake that was as calm as a mirror and was surrounded by lush greenery. It did not seem dangerous at all. This waterfly queen was a solitary king-class insect beast, and it was most likely at the bottom of the lake. Boom! Zhao Fu flew above the lake and gave off a terrifying might as he blasted towards the calm lake, causing countless waves to fly up. This was because the waterfly queen was a solitary king-class insect beast, so the method of absorbing ordinary insect beast blood would not work. Swish, 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 the massive shockwaves immediately drew the waterfly queen's attention. Massive transparent tentacles shot out from the water and gave off immense power as they slammed towards Zhao Fu. There were many of them, and they came from all directions, and each of them was 1 meter thick. Zhao Fu coldly harumphed and a terrifying power spread out, forming a black energy orb that covered his body. The black energy orb gave off immense power as it blasted outward. Chi, 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 the transparent tentacles were torn apart by that terrifying power, and countless pieces shot out in all directions, causing massive waves to appear on the surface of the lake. Roar! A pained roar sounded out from the bottom of the lake, and a terrifying aura erupted out like a fountain, causing the surroundings to become quite oppressive. A transparent creature rose up from the water. This creature was transparent and looked like it was frozen. It was oval-shaped and was 10,000 meters long. It gave off an aura that was about to reach the Emperor Heaven Realm. It was the Waterfly Queen. The Waterfly Queen opened its eyes and furiously glared at Zhao Fu as it said in a woman's voice, "Who are you? Why are you disturbing my rest?" The Waterfly Queen did not dare to directly attack because she felt that this person was incredibly dangerous. Zhao Fu said calmly, "Someone in the Alliance City has issued a quest that requires a vial of your essence blood, and the reward is 5 million gold coins. Do you want to give up your essence blood? Or do you want me to kill you and take it?" The Waterfly Queen angrily called out, "Don't be too arrogant. I'm not afraid of you." Boom. The Waterfly Mother Queen released a powerful aura that spread out like a tidal wave, causing the surroundings to fall into silence. Ericina lightly laughed as she said, "It's best if you give up your essence blood. With your strength, you're not a match for him. Don't ask for trouble." Feng Shensha also said, "Ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm experts are not a match for him, and you're just a peak extreme divine realm king-class insect. It's best to quickly admit defeat, or else you'll die a horrible death." She knew that Zhao Fu was very scary. She wanted to use all of her power to scare Zhao Fu and the other two. However, Zhao Fu and the other two looked very relaxed. They did not put her in their eyes at all. However, through their words, the Flying Water Mother Queen could roughly guess at Zhao Fu's cultivation. It was likely that he was an Emperor Heaven Realm expert, and he was even more powerful than ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm experts. After thinking for a while, the Waterfly Queen decided to take a step back and bear with it for now. She said, "All right, I can give you a bottle of essence blood, but you must immediately leave after receiving it." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I don't just want a bottle of essence blood." The Waterfly Mother Queen frowned as she asked, "How much essence blood do you want?" Zhao Fu said, "I need at least 12 bottles. A bottle of essence blood was 5 million gold coins, so 12 bottles would be 60 million gold coins. This was enough for Zhao Fu to buy the insect beast king's blood. The Waterfly Mother Queen angrily called out, "What? 12 bottles? Do you know how much essence blood I have? I can't take so much." Zhao Fu looked at the Water Queen's massive body and said, "With your massive body, you should be able to condense 30 bottles of essence blood. It's only 12 bottles of essence blood, so you should be able to take out that much. Without this much essence blood, you'll at most be heavily injured but not die." Essence blood was not ordinary blood, but the essence of blood. The Waterfly Mother Queen was at the bottom of the lake and was about to break through to the Emperor Heaven Realm. If she suddenly lost so much essence blood, not only would she become incredibly weak, but her cultivation would also greatly fall. She did not know when she would be able to break through to the Emperor Heaven Realm. The Waterfly Mother Queen felt quite troubled. She did not want to hand over so much essence blood, but if she did not, she would not be able to defeat this man in front of her. Zhao Fu urged, "Have you thought about it? If you don't agree, I'm going to attack." Killing you will give me 30 bottles of essence blood and even more gold coins. The Waterfly Mother Queen said angrily, You bastard, I agree. Zhao Fu smiled and threw the 12 bottles to the Waterfly Mother Queen, telling her to condense the essence blood herself. Zhao Fu could not be bothered to do it himself. The Waterfly Mother Queen grew 10 or so transparent tentacles and grabbed the bottles before stretching the tentacles into the bottles, and transparent liquid started to drip into the bottles. The Waterfly Mother Queen felt incredibly angry and decided to take revenge on Zhao Fu after breaking through to the Emperor Heaven Realm. She wanted to give Zhao Fu a good beating. In actuality, the Waterfly Mother Queen was not weak at all. She had extreme divine realm cultivation and a royal bloodline, so she could fight against ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm experts. It was a pity that she had met a monster like Zhao Fu. Ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm experts were just trash in front of him. At that moment Zhao Fu asked, You seem quite weak. Why is your essence blood so valuable? The Waterfly Mother Queen felt incredibly humiliated and hatefully glared at Zhao Fu. Of course my essence blood is valuable. My essence blood has miraculous effects and can allow Emperor Heaven Realm experts to regrow their limbs, making them almost as good as before. Zhao Fu understood. It turned out that it could allow Emperor Heaven Realm experts to regrow their limbs, which was quite good. Emperor Heaven Realm experts were the most powerful realms in the central region, and ordinary treasures were useless against them. By now, the Waterfly Mother Queen had already filled up the 12 bottles and threw them to Zhao Fu as she said angrily, Take the bottles and leave. I don't want to see you again. Zhao Fu caught the 12 bottles and smiled as he put them away. He looked at the Waterfly Mother Queen and said, I've changed my mind. I want you to submit to me. The Waterfly Mother Queen could not take it any more and furiously roared, Bastard! I'll fight you to the death. Swish, 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 massive transparent tentacles grew out of the Waterfly Mother Queen's body, giving off terrifying power as they shot towards Zhao Fu, giving off shocking sounds. Boom! Zhao Fu used all of his strength and stretched out a hand and pressed against the air, causing a massive power to weigh down on the Waterfly Mother Queen's body. The Waterfly Mother Queen's body sank, and the countless tentacles shooting towards Zhao Fu powerlessly fell to the ground. The Waterfly Mother Queen looked incredibly shocked. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would be so terrifying. Let alone an Emperor Heaven Realm expert, he was even more terrifying than ordinary Void Realm expert. Chapter 26-13. Book 1. Chapter 58 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Micur. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand towards the Mother Watercraft Queen and a blood-red rune appeared. Facing Zhao Fu's immense power, the Mother Watercraft Queen was unable to resist at all and could only look at the blood-red rune within her body. The first thing she felt was that the blood-red rune had turned into countless threads and fused into her body, causing her to feel an intense sense of terror. This terror came not only from her body and mind but also from her bloodline. Zhao Fu grabbed out with his hand and a transparent liquid was drawn out and fused into Zhao Fu's body. A powerful bloodline power spread out within Zhao Fu's body. This king-class insect-beast bloodline was much more powerful than other insect-beast-king bloodlines, and fusing with a single bloodline was more powerful than fusing with 100 bloodlines. However, the number 1 evil immortal not only required great power but also numbers. More bloodlines would allow the number 1 evil immortal bloodline to become more varied. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a satisfied smile as he looked at the weakened Mother Watercraft Queen and said, Now that you're restricted by the bloodline restrictions, obediently submit to me and I'll give you a massive opportunity. The Mother Watercraft Queen was filled with resentment as she looked at Zhao Fu and said, What opportunity? Zhao Fu smiled as he slit his index finger with his thumb, causing a trace of crystalline blood to flow out. The surroundings were covered by holy light and an intoxicating fragrance spread out. The Mother Watercraft Queen looked quite confused as massive waves crashed in her heart. What kind of bloodline was this? In front of this drop of blood, the Mother Watercraft Queen felt as weak as an ant and could not resist at all. Even when facing a sovereign bloodline, she did not feel like this. Zhao Fu lightly flicked his finger, and the drop of blood flew towards the Mother Watercraft Queen and entered her forehead. Boom! The Mother Watercraft Queen felt as if her mind had exploded and her mind went blank as a massive power spread out within her body. The Mother Watercraft Queen's body gave off boundless light and a powerful aura. Under this massive power, her body started to go through changes. Her bloodline, power, and body all seemed to rise as an even more powerful power slowly flowed out. With the help of this drop of blood, the Mother Watercraft Queen broke through to the Emperor Heaven realm. After a while, the Mother Watercraft Queen's aura gradually decreased and she no longer looked as weak as before. She said happily, "Who are you? How can a drop of blood contain such immense power? You're definitely the legendary Holy Sun, right?" Aracena lightly laughed as she said, "Holy Sun? You're looking down on him too much." The Mother Sword, Fu, and edited by Bob and the Flame Demon. Thinking about that, the Mother Queen looked at Zhao Fu in shock and said, "Then you're the origin child with an origin bloodline?" Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Aracena and Zhao, comma. And how, one by Chun and Chun, the godlike Fu, how the Fu, one water. Now that she knew how terrifying Zhao Fu's identity was, acknowledging Zhao Fu as her master was a massive opportunity. She would never be able to meet someone like Zhao Fu in her entire life. The Mother Watercraft Queen's body continuously shrank until she became a beautiful woman with long, transparent hair, a slim figure, and a transparent body. Following this, Zhao Fu brought the three of them back to the Level 7 Alliance City and handed the 12 bottles to the Alliance, immediately obtaining 60 million Alliance gold coins. After coming to the shop, the young man looked quite surprised. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would return so quickly. He immediately invited Zhao Fu to a private room and told the elder about this. After hearing about this, the elder felt quite shocked. It had not even been half a day and this person had already obtained 50 million Alliance gold coins. He was not simple at all, and he hurriedly went to the private room. Zhao Fu handed a spatial ring to the elder and said, "There are 60 million Alliance gold coins in here. Please count them." The elder smiled and looked through the spatial ring before taking out the spatial bracelet and the glass bottle and handing them to Zhao Fu. He also took out a spatial ring and gave some gold coins to Zhao Fu, as the items that Zhao Fu had bought had only cost 50 million gold coins. Zhao Fu smiled as he received the items from the elder and said, "I need more Insect Beast King's bloodline, as well as other King-class insect beasts and above. I also need some Primal Chaos Royal bloodline, and each one is different." The elder felt quite startled. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would want more Insect Beast King's bloodline after buying so many Insect Beast King's bloodlines, as well as Primal Chaos Royal bloodlines. This was Zhao Fu's secret, so the elderly man could not ask. However, he was sure that this person's identity was quite terrifying. The elderly man gave an apologetic smile as he said, "Esteemed guest, if you need countless Insect Beast King's blood or Primal Chaos Royal Race's blood, our store might not be able to satisfy your needs. However, I can recommend you to the Ming Yao Financial Group. The Ming Yao Financial Group is one of the largest financial groups in the Primal Chaos world and should be able to satisfy your need." Zhao Fu thought about it and nodded, "Thank you." The elder smiled as he said, "You're welcome. That's right, the Alliance City is preparing an auction, and the Ming Yao Financial Group is hosting it. There will be countless treasures, so you shouldn't miss it." Hearing this, Zhao Fu thought about an auction. He had never seen one before, so perhaps there would be things he needed. As such, he smiled and nodded. The elder had Zhao Fu wait for a moment before bringing over a powerful-looking green-haired young man and introducing him. This is the Ming Yao Financial Group's manager, LV Nan. I've told him about your situation, and he can help you collect many insect beast kings' bloodlines and even some sovereigns' bloodlines. Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt quite delighted. This meant that he would not have to go through so much trouble to collect them. He smiled as he said, "Just help me collect insect beast kings' bloodlines. I'll buy them at any price." LV Nan looked at Zhao Fu and smiled as he said, "No problem, the Ming Yao Financial Group will satisfy your needs. How should I address you?" Hearing Zhao Fu's tone, LV Nan looked at Zhao Fu and felt that Zhao Fu's identity was quite prestigious. He wondered which faction in the primal chaos world was the young master of, so he wanted to know some information about Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "You can call me Mo Yi." LV Nan thought about it but could not guess Zhao Fu's identity. He was afraid of making Zhao Fu displeased, so he did not continue asking and smiled as he said, "The financial group is currently collecting insect beast kings' bloodlines from all over the world. There are thousands of them, 10 or so insect beast kings' bloodlines, and tens of primal chaos royal bloodlines." Zhao Fu said, "No problem, I'll take them all. Also, isn't the Ming Yao Financial Group one of the largest financial groups in the primal chaos world? Why is there so little? Don't you also have primal chaos royal bloodlines?" You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.